You don't?
No.
Oh.
Don't care about food. Don't think about it. No.
Lucky.
Yeah, don't care. You've been doing this since I've known you.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Welcome to Disciplined Stoners, the gateway drug to mindfulness.
To think that we started this podcast to fight a stigma, only to uncover so much love that we realized that you can't put your energy anywhere but what you want.
Look deeper. Feel more. Tune in.
So much love. The Disciplined Stoners,
We're not here to distract ourselves.
the gateway drug to mindfulness.
We're here to learn. We're here to grow.
And welcome back to another episode of Disciplined Stoners. I'm your host, Ellevan.
My name is Winnie.
And we are the gateway drug to mindfulness. And today, okay, I'm going to do this, but then I'm going to tell you personally, but I'm going to do this first just for you.
Yeah.
Luther is an artist, performance coach, keynote speaker, and music artist. He is an expert in teaching stage presence to performing artists and business professionals. His focus is on the psychological barriers holding people back from accessing their most fearless and confident selves on stage. He is the performance coach for two of Canada's most acclaimed music artist development programs, the JUNO Masterclass and the CMI's Artist Entrepreneur programs in Toronto and Calgary. What? I didn't know that. Over the last decade, Luther has coached over 1,000 artists, including JUNO Award and Polaris Prize winners, major label and independent artists of every genre, and more than 50 artists that have since achieved 1 million plus Spotify streams.
What?
Get your joints up for your friend, our friend, Luther Mallory! Okay, honestly...
Is that how you say your last name?
Mallory.
Mallory. Okay, that's what...
That's pre-chat GPT, by the way.
Nice. Wow, it was really good. Yeah,
thank
I
you.
was very impressed.
Dude, it's so good to see you.
It's great. It's great to see you guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the show.
Also,
My pleasure.
I wanted to just dovetail, and this like wonderfully very important written bio, that this guy is like one of the most special energies I've seen around performance, like, and his tuned inness. I think we first came into contact via Rise. Shout out Rise once again.
No doubt.
But you just know how to crank up this life force energy in people. I find it very inspiring, and I find you very fascinating as a person. And it's my job for this podcast to try and show my gems of people, and you are this beautiful, shiny gem. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you. You guys are these people as well, these high energy, insane, like lunatic type, artist types.
Yes.
And that's what we like. We like how weird it gets and how polarizing we are to other people that aren't artists. We're a challenge. We're a challenge.
We really are quite a challenge, because it's almost like it's part of our job to be that weird jester, to be that clown, it's part of our role in society to almost not be in society, as though we do still live in it.
That's definitely true. Yeah. Like the expressive artists, you'll find this interesting. I like to look at the patterns that I've seen over the last 11 years in artists, let's say. You could split it where there's two types of artists. There's technical dominant artists. These are the brain leading people. These are like the people that probably played high-level sports, and they're disciplined, and they're structured, and they had probably chores and things as children.
Totally.
So then they can send emails and stuff in their career, and they can move a career forward. And then you have expressive dominant artists that are like dancing with crickets and staring at the reflection in a pond and things.
That's
and they're
me.
just oh yeah, that's me too. And probably no chores and probably no anything of any kind that created anything in the real. And they make real magic, but they can't send a fucking email.
Yeah.
So they're like real bedroom genius type people.
Can I spark this one?
Yeah.
This is a peppermint something, and this is an amnesia haze, and I would prefer this one.
Is that okay? We'll get them all going here.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right. There, that's what I can do for weed right there.
That's perfect. Do your thing.
One of those.
As much or as little as possible.
Yeah. More than that,
Right.
it'll just be like buttons. Like it'll just be you've seen a zebra. You've seen a zebra.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it will be.
I appreciate
love that
people like that you can know your tolerance and that
Yeah.
you can just stop right here because
That's good, too.
we've definitely smoked people out on this show before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my max, and I'll do that whenever, twice or three times, maybe a week, when I specifically need creative or focus access, and that's it. And there's no other reason for it,
Nice.
because it'll destroy me, and it'll just be like a zombie.
Creative focus. It is totally for creative
I
focus.
have the most exciting strain for you for creativity. Okay,
Is that right?
it's like sold out in Ontario right now.
Liquid Imagination? Yeah.
It's called Liquid Imagination.
By Rocket Factory.
It just, I feel like it might change your life.
Yeah. If you'd like to apply it in
or
that
your
way.
relationship with weed, anyways.
Well, yeah, like so these strands do different things actually.
Oh yeah, the terpene. So all. Sorry.
No, it's good.
The compounds like THC, CBD, CBG, like the THC psychoactive CBDs for the body to regulate your endocannabinoid system in your whole body and put you in homeostasis. CBG is for uplifting. CBN's like sleeping. So these are compounds that are in the cannabis plant. Now, you can grow it so it's loaded up with fuel. Say THC is fuel, right? The car's filled with gas. Who's driving? The terps. The terps are driving.
Of course.
So when you taste pepperiness, that's myrcene. Your body needs some anti-inflammatory. Your nose can communicate to your brain what your body needs through sensing it through terps.
And you might not like really resonate with that if you don't care about taste.
Well, that's true.
Oh
because
shit!
That's exactly right, because that was gibberish to the point of almost checking out to me. Like,
Well, that's the thing, though. Weed is extremely complex, and because it's only been legalized for 5 years, this language, like a lot of weed people are trying to bring this language into mainstream, and people are like, "What the fuck? Just get me high."
I
Like,
appreciate
Yeah.
your honesty.
Yeah.
I think
Where did I lose you? The compounds?
terps.
Terps. So
Terps did it.
so you know what's it? You know where myrcene the terp is? In cloves. You know the smell and taste of a clove?
I'm so many levels not ready for this. Like,
Okay, sorry, fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that.
We'll
I
move
think
right on
true.
from weed.
Well-
Let's get into the music stuff because I want to talk about that.
But what I do think is interesting is it is true, because food is the same with me. And no, thank
Oh,
you.
I'm sorry.
And
He's gonna keep doing that.
so
I'm
that's
just
right.
the impulse.
No, it's always polite and nice. Thank you. Every time that I go, which is every 6 weeks or so, to the pot store, and I talk to the same Asian guy too, and he's always just like this. This is him. And I'm like, "What's up?" And he's just like that, and I go, "You hate
Really?
me, or what is this?"
That's too bad.
It's okay. There's no. Yeah, he should be a better host.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah, it is. Because
That's
I
why we
would
talk
chat
about
with him
bud tenders so you fucking matter.
Yeah, that's right. But I don't.
But they're
care
only
ab-
getting like $14 an hour.
And they can't be high at work and they're there because they like weed. It's weird.
And I spend $7 every 6 weeks. I'm like, bro. Can't we
Can you
just-
give me, because in that guy's mind, he's like, here comes the
That's
$7
so
guy.
funny.
You're so right. Because I'm always like, does he not recognize me? No, he recognizes me.
Yeah, he
Still
knows
not
you.
cool though. Customer
Be
service
nice.
has totally gone downhill since COVID. I think like
It's
people
since
are just
Gen
like,
Z had to
if you're not in the vicinity of tipping me at all, I'm not gonna smile. I might not make eye contact.
Bro.
Like service is, it's rough right now, and everyone should be working to make other people's lives better. Like, I don't know.
It's Gen Z
You're absolutely right.
not liking the hierarchy.
And service is such a good industry. Like when I was in it, I loved. I'm still in it because I'm a yoga teacher, but
Every industry is the service industry.
that's true. I would love to get back
good.
to these two.
Can I have the lighter? Or are you going to
types
hog it
of-
the whole
You
time?
have another lighter.
No,
right
I
next
don't.
to you.
No, I don't. It's broken. It's empty.
All right, Ellevan. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would love to get back to these two types of artists: the analytical artist and the emotional artist.
Right. Okay. So, and even more like my language of it would be the technical artist and the expressive
Oh,
artist.
love that.
And you could kind of shrink it to or maybe expand it to the thinker and the feeler. And it's
Ooh.
kind of
Head and heart.
exactly, and so it's kind of about how you come in. Let's say you have success, even just as a blanket word there, and everybody wants something. You can come in from the technical side. You could relate it to personal development and say you could listen to David Goggins and he'll tell you get up at 4 a.m. and do 60 push-ups and kind of suffer. And he's entering from this technical side, and then he gets expression from.
Dude, I say that I have a saying for this. It's called technique moves the spirit.
That's exactly what it is. That's right. And then you have on this side the expressive artist that might listen to Eckhart Tolle or something, and he gets to go, you don't have to do anything. And then we, the expressive artists, get to go, oh, that's great.
Yeah. I'm Abraham Hicksing it. I'm just attracting it into my life.
That's right. So
I'm
we
not
go,
building it.
Oh, yeah, we go, oh, that's so great because I just want to dream dreams and continue dreaming the dreams.
Hey.
I just want to do that.
Can one person be the expressive artist but have grown up in a way where they think they should be the technical or the, what did you call it, please?
Technical, that's right.
Technical, okay.
Isn't that a fascinating case of an expressive artist that has buried themselves under a whole lot of thinking and has even maybe misdiagnosed themselves, yes, as a technical artist or as a technical person, and are leading the wrong way with the head when it should be the heart?
Yes.
And you could argue that everybody is that in the sense that we start as foundationally expressive and then we pile shit on.
Yeah.
So my job is kind of just doing this all the time, just doing that. Yes. You know, where is it kind of thing. But that's how I systematize it, the technical and the expressive.
How do you get people to let go of their life raft of technical processes?
I would say the simplest terms, focus. But you could go deeper and say belief, self-belief.
Well, that's exactly it, isn't it? That's the core root we keep landing on.
Right, and so the tool to accent belief would be focus. And so somebody's in their head, and they're singing that "Dream a Dream" song, but I'm realizing I'm on a podcast and stuff like that, and you're fighting with what I call the controlled middle, which is right there, not present here, not present there, but in the head here going, so what's going on?
Observing.
What's happening?
Yes.
What's going on?
Yeah.
And not the good observing
No.
from one level back from there.
Yeah, the observer, not the observer in
But
terms
the
of
ego.
consciousness. Yeah, the overlaying self that would like to
Don't be
control.
too much.
Don't be too
Don't
much
be
is
too much.
is
But also
unbelievably
don't be
limiting.
not enough.
See, that's the controlled middle. Exactly right there. Where somebody goes, so I go, take a risk. You're not doing anything. You know, I don't talk to people like that. But fuck you, man. Do some shit. Like, I'm like the Gordon Ramsay
Get
of
coached
coaching.
by Luther.
Fuck yeah.
That's what I want to be, the Simon Cowell of that.
Some people would respond to that. Don't know if that's healthy, but
I would.
That's right, technical people.
People got to go in with the open heart. Like when you receive coaching, you really got to be willing to like do the work and adapt and implement that. I'm curious how you prepare artists to believe in themselves, or even just start from the top of a session. You're paired up with someone from a label, or somebody finds you and hires a session out. And what do? Someone comes in, hey, I'm working on a single. You know, where can we start?
Yeah.
Or
So
how does that work?
I would say the beginning of that process is this conversation where you go, so who the fuck are you anyway?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they get to go, here's my best guess. And I go, here's mine. And then I get to sort of put patterns in place. And that's where the experience comes in for the last 11 years. I get to go like, oh, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
So
at
you're a
least.
seer. You see.
Yeah, that's right.
You see in the individual's energy, and you're looking for patterns, and you think of the most relative route for them to achieve the potential goal.
I would say that's right. And my system is dividing people into the dominantly technical, so I can go, okay, so we're like a let's get it done person.
You need a point of access for them. Because
Yeah,
if you try and slow down, Mr. I've built this train, it works for me, and you try to say, come meditate with me near a tree, it's going to be hitting a brick wall.
I think so, like, because knowing what I know about you, I would go, okay, very dominantly expressive artist. So my questions would be like, are you organized?
Yeah.
You know, like, are you good at tactics in your life, you know?
I hate it, but I do it.
Yeah. So
Like my desk is
and, like,
always clean, my
he's kind
folders.
he's very
Organized in my
visually
career.
organized. But
because you like design.
Yeah.
Right.
I would say that your organization skills have been like being developed for a couple years
As a
now.
person,
You're pretty
you're
good,
talking to
but
my wife
would,
though.
I would
But just talk as Winnie Clark, my partner in Paradox, as like a performer, as a professional. Mm-hmm. Like, you know how I organize that
like
podcast
you're just
episodes?
getting better at emails now. Like his emails
yeah.
used to be full of emotion.
Garbage.
Me too, man.
Garbage.
Like and they're supposed to be professional, right? Like you don't need to.
And I'm just
not
saying,
that
as far
it
as
should be devoid of
Trigger.
emotion.
yeah, exactly. Here's the thing, though. That's not organization. That's me keeping my maturity of a sociable person, allowing me to evolve. But like, as far as like these episodes on our hard drive, episode
Yes.
216, I dump all this shit like that. I'm very organized there.
But you've built a habit after 4 years.
Yeah, but then in my room, I'll never fold my clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're remarkably disciplined to do what you did, which is, you're in the top 1% of disciplined people.
Bless you.
I've never known anybody else who I've just been like, somebody asked me, you come up in my life or whatever, and I go, you know what this motherfucker did? Like it's one of those.
Bless you, bro.
But you know what's interesting is he is very disciplined, but it is a very allowing approach to his discipline. Like he really won't do anything he doesn't want to do.
Yeah, like the world
He
record.
really won't.
Yeah, bro. The
It's
world
amazing.
record. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do, so it didn't feel like work. I hope to never work a day in my liif,
But it's still, it's fucked, that project. Like it really is. Like I can only imagine. Like if I do some group
okay.
coaching, we'll do 20-minute challenges where you put your camera on. And you film yourself in your private space going, yeah, into the beyond, and I mean it. And the more risk, the more data you collect.
Yes.
That kind of thing. And
The more you can reach in your expansive spaces, the more parts of yourself you realize exist.
that's right. And so people get on camera, and for 20 minutes, I get to go, by the way, this is going to be a roller coaster. You are going to take a cigarette break at 8 minutes, because you're going to turn the thing on. And I got to watch these, and it's remarkable to see people's
20
journey
minutes,
for
eh?
20 minutes.
Wow.
And so you see them kind of try to turn on, because you're supposed to, usually in the exercise, it's as soon as you wake up, put your camera on, hit record, and then deal with it for 20 minutes. So you get people like, it's always just like, oh, fuck, okay, oh, God, okay, no, I can't turn it off, I'm not allowed to turn it off. Luke said I can't. So you just have to survive the shittiness of performance.
That is so good.
Yeah, this is great. I want to know why that sucks. Why do you hate that?
Yeah, as soon as you wake up is very vulnerable because you're just like I haven't fully landed yet.
Sure.
So like what's coming out of me is probably quite present and like fresh and new. And so you're just then you don't have a narrative. You don't have control over that narrative because it's just
Oh, that's so interesting. So would you say you're dominantly technical?
I would.
So there's
But
the pair.
I'm also the person that thinks that there's weird belief systems around being the technical and not the emotional for me. And I think
about being technical.
I have guilt about not being emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think technical is the way for me to succeed or something.
Yeah.
And so I don't ever let myself fully go. I have, I would say that I have had breakthroughs in that regard in class and stuff, in terms of acting specifically, but I'm much more technical. That's how I live.
Can I tell you what I would tell you then if I was
Yeah,
coaching you?
please.
I would say it's such an unbelievable strength to be brainy and organized and those things. And I would go, you really can't afford the energy to guilt about having a strength. Yeah. So I'd go, you have to just
I agree
say,
with
Use
that.
it.
yeah, you have to say to your ego, all good, man. Fuck yeah, that's great. Holy shit, actually. And then you access your expressive energy from the letting go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that was so good.
Okay, so I have a lot of blocks when it comes to writing my stand-up, like going to look at my ideas and then make bigger bits out of the ideas that I've written down over the last week or whatever. And I
What do
have
you mean
the
bigger
same.
bits? Sorry.
So I would write down like waitress napkin, fucking coming or something.
Elaborating,
and then-
filling in the lyrics.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
I would from that I'd be like, oh yeah, that was
Exactly.
so funny, and I would write
funny.
the entire bit, sort of
Yes.
like a monologue.
Like you to zoom into it.
Yeah, to zoom into it. Okay, so that I have resistance in doing every time I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go do this now, and I have the same resistance. I'm writing a series.
It's
a
so good.
comedy series right now, and I have the same resistance to just sitting down and opening the computer and going to Celtex and putting in my password and opening the document that I've been working on. Like that all, even right now, I can feel it in my left rib cage. It's starting to close up.
Anxiety.
And like when I'll push it aside. I'll push it aside until my deadline's coming up and I have to be like, okay, you just have to deal with it now. And then once I do it and I'm on the other side of literally the technique of it, of like opening up the computer or taking out the pad and like looking at my notes in my phone, it all feels better after that. Like it's like walking in, like opening the door of the office, essentially. Like that makes me feel like I want to throw up right now.
Are you very, very good at that in any other category of your life where you can attack the same sort of thing where there's emotional and creative responsibility that you have to dive into? Because are you nervous about you? Oh, fuck, I have to engage my less strong sense, which is expressive.
It must be, because that just felt right.
Yeah. So to me, it's like this: accept the exact split, and go into the Tara Brach's radical self-acceptance move.
love her.
Of course, right?
I listened to her this morning.
Right. So pay
God, you just said that? You're like an angel.
That's amazing.
That's her favorite.
While you, I mean, to me, it's like immersion therapy. But it's like you should take that challenge. You should go in your private space and do the icky thing, because what you want is to crack into expression again.
Yeah.
And so you do that by way of taking expressive risks and cringing through it until you break through something, right? Because
It's so hard to be cringy.
but here's the tool: incremental risk.
Right.
So that's why you take 20 minutes, and by 18 minutes is only when your brain finally relaxes and goes, "Fuck it, you win." Okay, and it starts going.
Yes.
Hey, it
That's it.
takes 18 minutes.
It takes 18 minutes because you're going to fight it, and it's going to relax. And it's the same as the gym. When you're doing battle with your brain, basically, at the gym, where you go, we're doing something physical, and your brain goes, no, that's good. That's uncomfortable enough. And you go, no, we're pushing the body. And you keep kind of like convincing your brain to go through it.
Yeah.
And then you come out of the gym confident. And you could call the president when you come out of the gym, right?
Yeah.
So I have to convince my brain more often.
That you're in charge.
That's so annoying.
Yeah, but it's
Because everything else sounds better. Literally, I hate doing laundry. Laundry sounds better than like, oh, it doesn't sound better. It just like is more tantalizing or maybe familiar.
I think
It's more familiar. So I'm like, let's go do something that doesn't make you uncomfortable.
So something that happened to me is just recently, I was telling you guys briefly, like I started making music again with a producer from Toronto called Marcus Cole, and collaborating on a song. And I haven't for years. Like I've been a coach for 11 years. I've rarely released any music, and I've written very little actually. But so I'm back in the game in the sense that making a song. And so I get to do vocals the other day that we're kind of making up on the spot, but I wrote a big, long 2-minute rap verse in the middle of it, and I hadn't really rapped at full volume, let's say, kind of thing. And I hit an energy where I was just
Yes,
like,
baby.
you know, sometimes you actually have breaks from takes or something, and you actually think like, I'm a genius.
Every day.
You know? And I think people go like, no, I don't know, but fuck it. That's a very good thing to be thinking
Here's the
about
thing.
yourself,
You're
right?
tapping into genius. You're lucky enough that you prepared your tool. I look at us as like
Yeah,
an
yeah.
antenna. And like the more you stay in that space, the higher it goes. And then you can reach higher frequencies of thought that are like bubbles. And then you go, and then you catch a fucking frequency, and then all of a sudden you're in it.
So that's
You
what,
get it.
That's what you do. But see this? So what he's saying is what I'm saying too. This, but it's 30% more. Let's go. Reach.
Yeah, more, and breathe, and then more.
And then watch this. And now give yourself the intention of reaching for the cosmos. That's what you're actually doing.
Yeah, that's really
Give
it.
yourself a job now. And now breathe better, way better than that. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you kind of let it go. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And from this place, you see what kind of expressive energy you have access to. See?
Yes, bro.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we have a technical artist who's coming in the technical side, which is just movement and range of motion.
That's why you love yoga so much. That's why you love doing that. But Winnie loves the practice of the team sport.
Yeah.
And I love, and what you're tapping into too, all what I'm seeing and feeling,
true.
especially from someone who found mindfulness through just like feeling for feelings and like found lyrics through just like that pull of emotion. Like you're right, I'm totally an expressive artist in my approach.
We're the same exactly.
Yeah. So like I think that we are receiving something from our DNA that there's an echo of something very primitive. I think like there's something very there's something very like you're working outside of the limits of your body to what you understand. Because same with me in audiences, I manipulate energy past the point of what people think is necessary. Winnie has a very pragmatic approach. Our passports wouldn't get renewed, our rent wouldn't get paid on time, we can make the money and pull it together, but when he pulls the trigger on the technical, she knows where the line is, right?
Yeah.
I don't see the lines. Like the lines don't exist. And I think as expressive artists, we're tapping into something that's like in our fucking double helix, man. Like it's like something with our DNA that's like, I remember it. I almost remember. Most of what I do with music, I'm remembering. I'm not creating. There's nothing new. Sure, I sound like Eminem a bit. There's something on my technical, lyrical side that like I caught inspiration from a couple artists. But this is all coming from like pre-me, I feel. What's your thoughts on that DNA information coming in? Because you're like this with Winnie too. That's what I see on people too. They hold energy literally. So you're not going on the surface psychology. I feel you're also like on this earth school as a spirit, like fucking with energy past the lines.
Well, yeah, and that's what I want. Like my life's mission, and I was talking to ChatGPT about this recently, and it agreed as it always does. Don't you think? Yeah. What do you think about a swastika tattoo? It's an interesting idea. Like what?
Interesting. That's the key word. Can't go wrong with that word.
I know.
Interesting is a good one.
So I think it's
Primitive.
It's really neat that it's of course, when I think about it, it's like of course it's ancestral, and then it's a level deeper, which is in the helix, and you just go, oh yeah, it really is energy that can be taken as energy and then put into a language, let's say through the focus tool that is the ego. And I learned that from Bashar recently.
Oh, I love Bashar. And good day to you.
And you good day.
And you cannot exist. You cannot not exist. You are existing.
Yesterday I heard somebody say, I was in a dark time once and I was almost suicidal, and he goes, how exciting.
He goes, congratulations to people that are like, my life's falling apart. Oh, congratulations. So exciting.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, man.
I love that.
That's a case study in an artist too, because I don't care if he knows an alien or not. The presentation of the information is so fucking interesting.
And it's so accurate. There you are using interesting again. I think it's like accurate because it feels right.
That's right. And so so whatever he's doing there, like I find his answers outstanding.
I agree. He's totally the best. I listen to Abraham Hicks as well.
Me
you know
too,
them?
sure.
The best thing they keep saying is like, if you wish, like when someone's like, my life is a problem, and they're like, sure. Like if you wish, like you're creating your reality. Like that's the core of both of their pitches. It's like you're creating it. So people come in like, how do I stop people doing from what I don't like them doing? Stop focusing on it. Like move your focus, just like you're saying with your own craft. Give yourself somewhere to focus and go. You can't beat what you don't like into submission enough to change it. Like you can't focus on your bad enough to become better. You have to focus, I think, forward in your strengths. Would you say so?
Oh yeah, would I ever say so? Like it's obviously true, I think, and I think like even back to coaching, I guess it's like to work with someone to access expression and get out of overthinking. We were talking about focus, and I think you can access that space, and the source energy comes when you're not in the ego, or at least accepting that you will be constantly in the ego. That's it, maybe even better.
Yes.
But using focus to come into the senses. So, for instance, we can be here, and you can suddenly realize you're on a podcast or something, and you can kind of do this controlled middle stuff, and then we get to go. All right, let's choose our focus, and let's choose something in the external, which would be in the environment or directly with the audience. So you then see this as the piece of metal and plastic that it is.
Yeah.
And you just use your eyesight to do that. And you go, oh, there's an object. You can use touch as well. You can touch that and be there. Touch it.
It's like the five. Yeah.
We literally talked about this last episode.
Right. And here you are in the environment.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you just keep kind of coming back here to talk about Transformers or North Korea or whatever it is. But then you come out here and you go, oh, I'm going to choose my focus. And then when you do that with an artist, it's great, or a comedian, because you go choose your focus and choose the environment. And so you go, okay, there's like the light back there, and there it is. And I'm not in here about it. And then you find the audience waiting in the environment. And then you go, oh, now it's conversational.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's an exchange.
Yeah.
And the pressure isn't on me to try to perform, and it's like a dead end of like an abyss of nothing.
Yeah.
You're actually watching for the response back from people, reactiveness back from people.
If you're present, you'll find that. And if you're not present, the audience will be blurry, and you won't see the T-shirt, and you won't see the teddy bear, and you won't whatever, because you'll be too busy performing. Excuse me, I got to perfect everything. I'll be with you guys when I'm finished.
Yep.
Dude, I gotta say, you fucking, when we first met, I was going through this transition where I was really sitting in the freestyle thing, because I used to look at that as just like a party trick, but it became like the main show I sell now and am known for. And it's like, I used to feel pressure, like write great songs and perform them, and we certainly know an abundance of people, yourself included, who can write a tune and that do well. And I mean, JP, like there's some really good songwriters. I love writing songs. I'm fascinated, but I used to almost hold shame that I wasn't like, writing a song that I felt whatever, like what sometimes I'd really nail it, or I'd feel like I have a song that spoke a truth for someone like Trap that like I wanted to express, but it never felt core. And that's what I felt like I was forcing what I thought of before on people now. But when I clicked into like what people would really light people up when I was performing was the freestyle, and the only way to freestyle is to like look at the teddy bear and then start making material out of the teddy bear and like that person's shirt and then like that connectivity has now become irreplaceable to the point where I don't even like want to perform songs anymore. Like she's like, why don't you do your album? And I'm like, because God is in the moment.
Well, so that's actually ties into what I was going to ask, is that makes sense for freestyle performance or a musical performance or a stand-up performance where if you go up there with, I guess, an idea of how things are supposed to go and you're not really willing or open to open yourself up to changes in that, it would make sense that there could be like a stale element about that, especially in where the audience is welcome to interact, whether it be music or stand-up. But if it is, do you feel the same when it's a stage play or a musical or a one-man show where there is that structure to it? This is how it's supposed to go. The audience is supposed to play as an observer and not and I guess a little less interactive. Is the rule of thumb, like if you're not open to something different happening, then that blur happens, then there's not that presence that's going on. How do you translate that to an actor in a stage play?
I think it's because it's really about types of energy more than anything. It's not really about mediums as much as types of energy, perhaps. It's like you could choose, as artists on stage do, let's say musicians, choose physicality as the focus order or the intention of the thing, and so then they're dancing and it's all this stuff kind of, and then their physical energy begins to drop, and so the audience's physical energy begins to drop. And they just get tired, so the audience gets tired, rather than replacing it with some other type of energy, let's say emotional energy.
Ooh,
yeah.
Yes.
So you could stand in front of a piece of metal and plastic like that, a camera, or an audience, and still just be well intended in your energy. So say my energy now becomes emotional energy. Okay, I can engineer that. Let me get inside a bit. And because of the intention, then you can choose a focus and fine tune your energy completely. And then it takes a minute. But I don't think the medium matters. I think it's just a commitment to energy, even, you could just say.
Yeah.
I worked with an artist yesterday teaching the studio vocal thing, and the studio vocal thing has to do with warming up technically so much that you can put a blanket over it and move to the expressive job. And most artists in any medium don't realize, I think, the standard of performance in terms of just commitment to energy.
Yes.
And it's because they're so caught here.
Yes.
Right? So if they come out here, they go, oh, it's fun to be fucking intense and perform. It's so fun.
Yeah.
To be serious.
Yeah. So where after you've worked with hundreds of thousands of people,
That's right.
and where are people's biggest blocks, would you say?
Fear of judgment and rejection as a general rule.
Oh.
I mean, that's vast, right? But basically, being unable to risk sufficiently to impress someone, to get someone's attention.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good way of putting it. If we went to a show tonight, we would probably see 4 artists in a row that didn't impress us enough to remember it.
Yeah. That's so true.
And in my experience,
That's so fucking accurate.
in my experience, I would say this. I say this as hyperbole usually, but it's like everybody's got good songs.
Yeah.
Everybody's got good jokes. Everybody does. But people don't bring risk to it.
Oh my God.
And that's the part that's expressive.
Bro.
Yep. You're an angel.
So what does that risk look like? Like how do we not jump out of the airplane? How can I just dip my toe out? Do I have to?
You can. That's what's so nice.
Yeah.
The principle of incremental risk.
Please,
This is more about how you would do it, right? But it's like nobody in my audience at my show, my performance coaching show, Destroy the Stage, nobody of the artists there isn't an insecure individual person. and one of the things that I say to artists all the time is don't forget, the audience is full of individual, insecure people that are not fucking willing to put their hands together, okay? So if you want to, you're going to have to coach them.
Yep.
You have to coach them. If you want them dancing by song 6, they better be dancing earlier. Because if I'm Clark from Nevisville, I'm definitely going I'm like Luther's on stage. Put your fucking hands up, Cincinnati! And Clark's like, because I know, my grade 2 teacher, no, there's no way I can possibly, And so it really has to do with incremental risk, and this is why we have the 20-minute challenges. It's like you go like this, and I look at that camera. And I go, okay, that feels a little stupid. This is what we want to lean into. But now I'm kind of blown past the ceiling of that level. So I can go, like that and go, that's very embarrassing, actually. I hope that doesn't get clipped. But now I've pushed into this much risk.
Right.
And you can incrementally build courage that way.
Yeah.
That's right.
You're pushing it out. You're building the muscle.
So do something for
Totally.
that camera even right now that just punches the one ceiling out. Just makes your brain go, you idiot.
What time, Mao?
See how much that does? Because we get to go, what is Wachai Mao?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
We make a song about Wachai Mao. We close every episode with a freestyle, so we'll name that song Wachai Mao.
Oh, we close it with a freestyle.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
very cool. I was just about to
is
go in
new.
on Wachai Mao.
Fucking bust it, bro. Wachai Mao. Wachai Mao. Wachai Mao. Wachai Mao. Bro, like wind chimes though, and I know that I go so deep, 100 like casino, and Winnie has a energy coming like free flow, and Luther getting it out like we know when we go. You gotta take a risk like a casino. Where can we go? Oh, bro, yeah, let's see those cosmos reaching for the sky and the energy. Let it be into infinity, and inevitably you're gonna feel what it be when it be like like Mallory and Ricky and Mickey and Mallory. It's Rickery, Hickory, Stickery, Doc. I stick it in her and keep it moving like Dickory. Onto these people rocking beats, and they gotta be like the oddity. Talk to me, probably the perfect place to slow it down.
It makes sense to me that you gotta take risks, you see, because then you'll be higher than you used to be. You will expand, you will expand, you will expand, then it doesn't feel so uncomfortable. Yeah, you will expand, you will expand, then it doesn't feel so uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel it every day. I feel it every second. I feel it. Actually, it's universal. I feel it for free. I feel it everywhere, all around you, all around me, all around everything. Nothing is everything. Clouds in my mind. A bunny rabbit loses its skull to bloody massacre. October, Halloween sober. Fuck it. Pass it to 11. Pass it 'cause he checks it.
I check it, the record, to say that we in it indirectly. The record keeps on hitting it to infinite. You know that we gotta feel with it. And that's like every minute we can feel that we are in it. That's the God flow. Out of this world like UFO, and you know we go everywhere we need to go, and that's beyond the ego. Jeez, bro, yeah, it's deep in our DNA, and we can say it's always great to bring it to that special place. And
Watchy, man.
Oh, you got the spit hand. I'm so sorry.
oh, it's good.
Oh, God.
That's the tribalness.
That's it, man. And so it was.
You're ready to kick it anytime. I love that.
So what space do you start in there? Are you very analytical about what's happening, or do you go because we go like this,
Yeah.
like whatever. You
So
start
I
here?
feel like I'm slowly. So we've been freestyling for a while now, and I feel like I'm slowly getting to the point where I've always had like a deficient throat chakra. Doing stand up, like my 20-year-old self could not. I would be like, no, I could never do stand up. So doing stand up for I did say that, exactly.
Cool.
So the last 3 years, and this makes sense how you make incremental risks in stand up, because you start to, on stage, get really curious about how far you can push something, how far you can go before the audience turns on you. It just happens naturally where you're like, how cool or not cool are you guys? You know, basically, like what can I say around you, and how far can that go? But that happens really slowly. First whatever you talk about, whatever, but then you, like every comedian goes through a stage where they start talking about their genitals.
Sure.
Whether or not they that would never have been me in the past, and that's all I can talk about on stage.
You're just
now.
a genital girl now.
Yeah, and so that's like, and same, you take, like I did a sexy photo shoot a couple years ago. That's not something that I ever thought I would really lean into. So you start getting comfortable taking more risks, and that idea, that judgment, that you're afraid of, once you realize, like, oh, I did this photo shoot and nothing really happened. My mom said it was unnecessary. That's the worst thing that happened. And I did have some weird issues about that. Sure. But you get over it. And then you, like, start talking about your vagina on stage. And at first it's like, whoa. I think it would probably it's the same with sex, right? Like, the more that you start poking around in the butthole and, like, hit slapping and all of that stuff, you get used to that. Then you want to level that up. Like, the increments make sense. It's when
I love how it always goes to butthole.
you do something that, like, feels way beyond the next logical step.
Yeah.
That's when I feel like you want to, like, ugh. But to answer your original question, like, I feel like I'm almost letting go when I freestyle. And I'll get into a pocket of, like, where I am there, and then I'll become aware that I'm there, and I'll take myself right out.
But you know what the problem is there? Is that you're coming out into the less ideal space. Let's call it the self-conscious state rather than the moment, eh? So you come out into the self-conscious and you're suddenly aware that and then you start posturing again.
Yeah.
The problem isn't that happens, because no one can't do that.
That's right.
So it's absolutely about acceptance of what is true. And so you stay in the moment when you go, ooh, I'm self-conscious. And instead of going, fuck you, ego, you go,
Yeah.
oh, interesting.
Yeah. Oh my God, comment on it.
Yeah.
Be with it. Be present.
Because otherwise that's the fighting energy, because the issue is never the perceived mistake. It's the judgment of the perceived
And it
mistake.
slows your flow down.
Yeah.
Just
Just now
don't.
you gotta re-access it. But for that, like, I like to start inside because that's my default position, probably in terms of focus in internal, you know, because I love vibing there. And but then we're 4 minutes into that or whatever, 90 seconds. I have no idea how long that was. But at some point I go, oh yeah, external, and I think about it in terms of, oh, how fun. So for the last 10 seconds or something, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. And what happens with people is they go, oh, there's people. But can I say something really important?
Yes.
Please. This is such a good episode.
It is, eh? Yeah. We don't want everybody. We want the right people. And we really only want like 3% of people to get us. So when you go vagina,
Bro.
and people go, oh, no, too much for me. I go, oh, good.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, you know. So you can't. So what you do is you risk everything for your people to go, that's exactly me.
That's you fucking so
And
nailed it.
everyone can then have people. Everyone gets to have some people.
The mass market has died. The niche has won, and the mass market has died. It died with Squid Game and Tiger King.
Bro, you are a master of human psychology as like a anthropology perspective.
So, when you're coaching people and they have fears of judgment and stuff, what's something easy that someone can implement to start healing or creating different beliefs?
I really believe that a very good guess every time, pretty much at an exercise that you could do if you just simply feel like you need to break free a little bit, is put your camera on, because it's going to symbolize an audience, and that's what we want to deal with. We don't want to be in
interesting.
isolation. We want to deal with an audience. So that's why I'm in workshops and like, can they film it? We don't want to interrupt. I'm like, no, that's not interrupting. That's simulating the thing they're doing. Right? So that's on. It creates.
Does this work for people outside of the performance realm?
It's for every person, right? Like
Okay.
it really is. And my thing has expanded to the life and business level because it's exactly the same. It's access to self-expression.
Yes.
And that's really all I'm ever talking about.
Confidence.
That's right. And stage presence, and that being a nice term for it, kind of like that. But
So in front of a camera, you set up your camera.
that's right. And then do 20 minutes and do it on a clock. For expressive people, they get to hang their hat on an actual structure.
Yeah.
And not do it for 7.5 hours. And for technical dominant people, they like the structure. And so 20 minutes, you put your camera on and record it. And see how weird you can get, and use your body and use your voice. and it doesn't matter what the answer to that is. But you go, okay, I'm alone, but here's the symbol of somebody putting some pressure on me. And let's see if I can actually get into my zone without letting that suck my soul.
Ooh.
Right? And
I
use
love
that
this.
for focus.
Dude, you're addressing something very special in this day and age for a creator who has to make content to market themselves.
Right.
Even in a business structure, if the end goal is revenue, how do you sell shows? Get the buzz online. It's helpful. So like use your video. So we're always in there. And like me and Winnie during the pandy kind of blew up on this app called Bigo, but found it was so soul sucking because you had to like almost give your whole cognitive self up into this thing. Whereas when I live stream on Instagram, when I'm just feeling myself and vibing out, there's a bit of a connection because I'm reading comments, but you're right. You have to anchor yourself in like what works for you. Mm-hmm. Like you can't, it's so funny how you have to be so selfish like for your vibrational state for other people to get any value out of you.
You said it exactly right. And most of us are going, audience is important, and then I'm important. And what I say to people is, fuck them, like really fuck them. But
Straight
better
up.
than fuck them, it's accept them. Accept that they think whatever they're going to think.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
Kids
right.
in a sandbox.
Yeah, that's right. And then if you could make 97% of them really dislike you, you're going to have a life-making art.
Okay, did you? Okay, I love that you said that because you're using numbers. I got to say that overlap. And while you said it, and as we were talking, I've been exploring it. I have a I'm the lead of my own movie delegation, and I call these folks that 3%. I identified it as 3% too.
Me too. I have the same exact number and like catchphrase on that thing. 3% of people. What's yours?
Okay, it's the lyric lovers, because every show I've ever done, that's how many people I look for in the crowd who will hear my lyrical bars. When you were telling her, let go of the 97%, I'm like, I stopped giving a fuck. And I just wanted to talk to the thug in the back row who I know listens to Nas. And if I could make him go, I don't give a fuck about you guys. Like I found such freedom in that, because I'm like, I have my people on stage. And at first I chose the hardest ones because they're like the lyric lovers. They're like, I'm going for like the 45-year-old black guy, like who listen, like, like maybe that's a little stereotypical, but I'm just saying, like, I'm going like someone who has probably listened to Nas. It's like somebody who I think is better than me. They're potentially aware of. So I'm going for like fucking that 3%, bro. And you're right. There's such liberty. Once you face up to that, there's such liberty in letting go of the rest. I think that's a really weird skill, though. How do you not worry about the other people's judgment?
I think go ahead, Winnie.
Well, I wanted to ask this back when we were talking about the exercise that you were giving with the videotaping.
Yes.
So I'm rewinding a little bit,
Okay,
but
good.
I think it might sort of tie into the judgment question. Because it's easy for creatives, especially, to say, set up a camera and film yourself and see how silly you can get. Yeah. But I know that there are potentially people watching. I know that I want to make a clip for a few people that I have in mind who would set up their camera and they might press play. They might press that record button, but then they don't have any tools to even know where to start. You're going to get 20 minutes of them sitting in front feeling frustrated and confused and wanting to say something, but like nothing feels like it's going to be right, and it is that paralysis starts. So I just wanted to see if we could give those folks any type of format or tool to get you started.
So I think the thing about what we're talking about is the technical dominant artists who are going to set the thing up and go, I don't wing anything really, so I don't know what it is. And I haven't discovered how my body moves or something, and I'm not willing to. I think it comes back to this thing where everybody is foundationally expressive. Like from infancy and maybe all the way back to consciousness, like just an expression of the universe, boop, into the world, there you go. And then you start to pile on the things that take you the technical way. And maybe there's a nature element for sure, I don't know. But that's kind of generally the case. So I think for the technical person, I go, like let's take the category of body. There's your body. How does your body move that you could answer the question, how do I move on stage, right? Okay, I don't know that. Okay, so you either go and get coaching and lessons because you're so afraid that you need to definitely first learn the craft.
Right.
Which is fine. Not afraid's a bad word there. You're more inclined to want to learn. Or give yourself a 20-minute time limit and get in the front of the thing and use the principle of incremental risk. And what you do is you simply go ra-da-dee-dee-doo, ja-ba-ba-ba-ba, boom-ba-da-da, and it gets bigger, and just go,
okay,
I don't
literally
know.
that. Okay.
That's right. Like, and what you're looking for, the target is your brain going, what? And that's what you're pushing into.
Fuck yes, that's so good. Because you got to walk that baby up the stairs.
That's right.
And is it always because
So
I feel
nice.
like I'm very, like, my body is the resistant thing. It's not like a voice in my head that's like, don't do it. It's like my body starts to tighten up.
So here's a great thing for you then, I would say. Do the thing that makes the body not tighten up, which is like exercise that morning or go to the gym right before. And then you'll get into your body the way you like to get into your body.
There.
Yeah, and then when you try it, you might have some more looseness. But either way, I don't think we can argue that you either have to get somebody to teach you movement or, let's say, you have to find it yourself. So why not stand in your living room, put the thing on 20 minutes, fine, I'll fill it. Like I said, it doesn't matter if you sit there the whole time. And we have that all the time. If they go like that, but they leaned into something. You go, that's good. That's progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And then we start to find some dumber shit and stuff. You really want to try to embarrass yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
And then so you're practicing that, and that's going back to how do we like not care about what people think of us, or like, you know, spiral into that self-judgment. But the more you kind of build that muscle of feeling uncomfortable, the more it just doesn't feel uncomfortable.
And you've
It
proven
just
it.
starts to feel comfortable. And yeah, you have a track record of that. So when a bigger risk does come along, you can look at it and be like,
Yeah,
interesting.
that's right. So if we apply it to your comedy, at least before a show, let's say, you should run around the building 60 times, you know, and then
60?
Yeah. Like actually, you should try it. Try exhausting yourself physically before
Totally, man.
because you'll go on stage and be like, I don't give a fuck.
Well, Exhaust the bitch, that's it.
I've already gotten that when I've been like super tired
From
and I
biking?
just had an early biking. Yeah, that one time on the Danforth, I
Yeah.
biked like 12 kilometers uphill for an hour and a bit before a set for my festival set. It was the first festival I ever did.
And how did
And
it go?
It was fine. It was fine, but it wasn't the best.
But were you more relaxed in any way or not?
I would say physically, probably. But I have had moments like there was this one time, and it's a memorable set for me at Comedy Bar where
Oh, yeah,
I
tell me.
thought I was on set all day, and I thought I was going to have time to go home and shower before going to my set. But we ran late. And so I didn't have any time. I showed up right on time, but like I'm so sweaty, like greasy, no makeup. Not ideal for me to perform. I like to present myself in a certain way.
Yep.
And it was awesome. It was one of the first sets where I like went off script pretty hardcore, and people responded well. Also, that's definitely but I was just so tired. I was like, this is not what I planned, and I have to give in to like the chaos of what this is.
So
And it was lovely.
And what exactly happened that made it lovely? Why did it work?
I was so tired that I didn't care. Yeah, I was I was like, I just didn't have any energy left to care.
You will fucking die by my hand.
And that's also changed how I feel when I live
facts.
day to day, because when at the end of my day, if I'm like exhausted, I'm like, wow, what a beautiful day.
So you just got to go micro onto that.
Yeah.
And go, okay, there's the macro. If I do everything right for the day and I work out and shit, I feel good. Okay, so 20 minutes before your show, what do you got to do to feel good, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, get into the body. And so for technical people that don't know how to move, use the movements you do know from hockey, from gymnastics, from running, anything. And take that, let's even say for the technicals, let's not even do the 20-minute in your house thing. Go to the gym and try 30% harder.
Hey.
That'll do it. That'll do the same exact thing.
Yeah.
So be a little bit more pronounced in the gym. Like, just not that kind of thing where you're like,
Engaged.
fuck me. Sorry, the things. Like, go up and say, excuse me. Great.
Be assertive.
That's
more
nice.
confident.
And
Yeah.
you'll really like convince yourself that you're a leader.
Yeah.
And then you get on stage as a leader.
Yeah. I've been coming because
Beautifully said.
I'm getting more, I guess, known in the comedy community in Toronto. I've been shaking a lot of hands because
Very
that's
cool.
how comics. So I've been getting
crushing
very aware of how I handshake, and I'm like, dude, you need to be confident here. And we segment intend before we go out, so we I've added confidence to that intention.
Do you know segment intending, bro?
Sorry?
Do you know segment intending?
Or
No.
Have you heard of that?
It's like from Abraham Hicks, and it's you know what we did before the podcast, like may this next podcast be filled with that. It's just like you kind of.
But just before you
you
start
can
anything
you
new.
You can program your reality
don't understand.
by intention. So before we leave the house, I say, may this next segment be filled with joy, love, connection, friendship, understanding, compassion, wellness,
We used
delightful
to have
surprises.
We definitely have
And so it is.
go-to words, but I've actually been trying to think about truly
What
what,
you'd
I
like.
would like to intend.
Yeah.
And when I started thinking about that, I was like, confidence.
Yes.
I intend to be confident out in the world.
Fuck yeah.
And it's fucking working, man.
It's
Like,
hot too.
and it's working because I feel better. It's not because like much is changing, honestly. It's just because I'm like, oh, I'm a human and I'm allowed to take up space.
And you also identified a mission, which is confidence.
Yeah.
Right, so that's good for your technical brain. You get to go, oh, great, something to do, confidence, instead of like, what am I doing here? I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, like I feel like mine really is, like self-expression is my life's purpose as a topic and as a practice. And I just know that so firmly. I mean, I asked the AI a few days ago. I really did. I went, can we talk about my values?
You're the best.
Kind of told him all of my stories. And
Him.
shit. And I went, what's the theme there? You know, and he went, oh, bro, it's so obviously self-expression. That's what you help people with. That's what you want. You know, and so there's a deep intention for me that I can very easily, by the way, bury under my technical side analytical and get depressed for 3 weeks, definitely.
Yeah.
But I definitely do know that when I'm vibing like I am now with you guys, it's like, oh yeah, like this is worth actually living. Yeah.
Well said, brother. That's beautiful.
And then I did want to touch back on something that you guys were getting into as well about this like knowing that you're a genius. Remember when you were like, you come out of something, you're like, that's fucking genius.
It's me.
I'm the fucking best. Okay, so I feel like Canadians in general don't take on those
Winner
sort of
principles.
boisterous,
Values, principles.
blueprints, character types, because we want to be humble.
We're a polite
and
nation.
Polite, yeah. And I really think it's important to like dig yourself and love on yourself, but it often seems like it comes off as arrogant or something. And maybe that's
yourself,
just
you
like
mean.
a belief system. I don't even know. Honestly,
Well,
I'm not
both, I
really
guess.
like believing what I'm saying right now.
I understand, but I'm following you hard, I think. You're like, because I think, oh, now I've lost my train of thought. Where does it live, Ellevan?
I got it.
Yeah.
You, as an energy, give me and other people around you exactly what is needed. And as a Bashar fan, you'll like this. Permission.
Permission.
You need permission from something
Or like,
or someone,
or like,
yourself.
I want other
You
people
need
to tell me that
Yeah.
I'm good.
So
I don't want to be like,
you
I'm
don't-
good.
You don't have to worry about anyone ever giving you permission of good or bad because it's
Yeah.
subjective. Like
Yeah.
people go to Drake concerts because they hate Drake. It doesn't matter. The ticket sold. Great. My career's still on track. So, it's the permission that you're waiting for, I think, that you have to give to yourself. But like geniuses like Luther here, who accepts his genius when it enters, knows it's a passing state, as well as me when I know every day while I'm freestyling, I'm a genius, but doesn't mean when I'm shopping for groceries, I'm a genius. Doesn't mean I can take that
Right.
ego with me to the airport and expect Nexus because I can freestyle good. All I can do, and I talked with this with Humble, is I give myself permission to shine, so I give people a little key that frees them from pain for a second. And Humble says, yeah, make it matter. Make it fucking matter. When you come on stage, so what? We're at Nuit Blanche. There was an open mic available and a crowd of people. My ego kicked in and said, they got to pay you for that, son. That's where I'm at my career, and it's like, fuck that. Like, put up a pay gate because you're rare. And it's like, dude, you have a thing to give to people who are fucking down to vibe out right now. Hopped on that bitch.
It was so
Lit
fun.
that whole shit up.
Yeah.
Lit that whole shit up because I was like, make it matter. So fucking what? So what unless you give it when it matters? So I'm a genius on this motherfucker. And when I'm off that, I have no assumptions about myself. I actually think I'm kind of dumb. But like, so you give yourself permission to be great in those small, and you give me permission, and you give people around you permission, because you're like, here, focus on it, earn it. And we're like, oh, if I earn it, that'll be
guess-
okay. It's great.
I guess like the greatest of all time, now that we have documentaries on a lot of them, it all feels like they really bought into themselves.
Kobe was at that gym every morning. He was already rich. He
It-
was already big. He didn't need to be there.
It feels like though, like for athletes, when you win a championship, what I'm hearing is that they knew it.
Is definite in their head.
It was definite, yeah.
Yeah.
And I just, I don't know if I have that about anything.
But here's another reframing, I think. So when somebody says, I knew it, like let somebody got huge gets to say, I knew that I was going to get famous and get rich. And you go, and it happened, and then there's 1,000 other people that knew it.
Yes, right. Right.
Yeah.
So you're just saying that it's just something that a lot of us know and it happens for some and not for others.
That's right, but that's the extrinsic. The intrinsic does not change the belief the person has. Right? It's only the outcome there. But the whole way, they all believe in themselves the same amount. It's just somebody breaks through because of some technical mystery or some
Okay.
whatever you'd like to
It
decide.
works for the Illuminati's
So then-
timeline.
So then are you saying that
No
if
doubt.
you don't believe in yourself, you can also make it?
Oh yeah. Think of how many fucking artists that we've seen that are like beyond catastrophe, drug-addled.
That's true.
That like we see it all the time. Like I've had 1,100 interviews with artists. There is some fucked up depression, anxiety, suicide, death, with artists.
Yeah.
Because of the path, and
Right.
because of the
Well,
it's rife with mental issues because for
to make good art, you got to be a little fucked up.
and then you put a fucked up person, the most fucked up, in a business that's impossible,
And wonder why it goes.
and you go, what?
How did that happen?
Yeah.
Amy was so.
So should everyone pursue their dreams?
Oh yeah.
It's worth it.
Oh yeah, because again, look, what's gonna feed your soul, baby? You know what I mean?
It's true. I can't not do it.
Cannot do it. You have to do it. It doesn't matter that there is an outcome.
Oh, fucking yo! Say it again for the people.
It can't matter that there's an outcome. And the first thing to go, don't forget when you were 13 and a half. The first thing to go when you realize there's a market for your skills is the sincerity behind it, right? Because now you're going, oh, that's not Grammy Award winning in the first 2 lines of your fucking song. But you needed the 16th idea to get to inspiration. It's a chase, and you needed that, But technical artists particularly do that. And so we're getting around now to you not opening the document. Right? It's very easy for you to not open the document because you don't have the emotional energy for it, really, because you're kind of stuck in the technical part of it. Right? So you're not just like feeling anything about the task, which is why you need to just loft in and find a way. So
And
either go
start
to the
feeling.
gym or have it open on the kitchen counter in front of your coffee at the document.
Yeah.
And then give yourself a time limit because you love that. So give yourself 2 hours or something and let Ellevan pick the topic. He goes, that one, and you're not allowed to change.
I hate that.
Oh yes, we're gonna do that.
I
Fuck
hate
you.
that
You
so
got
much,
We're gonna do it.
Luther.
You can
Thank
see
you.
why, though. You
Thank
can see
you.
why, right?
Yes.
Is that because you don't like losing to him, though?
No, that's because I don't like the idea of. I don't know. I'm not. I can't.
She
really,
doesn't like pressure.
Yeah, I think
Everything
it's-
that I love
there's
about
pressure.
ciphers, she hates.
Yeah, because then I'm like, okay, like
So
now
bus
I
it.
have to
Yeah, bus it.
write about this, and I don't even know it. But honestly, it's a good practice because there's a open mic on Sunday nights that's like a bucket mic, and the audience writes shit down, and then you have to take it out and like riff on it.
How do you do with that?
I'm really bad at it,
Oh, yeah, okay. So
but I want to get better.
I've never seen her decline stage time. In fact, we biked and Ubered all over the city for stage time, and one time she said no to that show.
Look at that, though. Like, look at how dedicated you are.
She's so
But
dedicated,
you'll love this
bro.
because I said no, and I felt so shitty about it.
That she never
I was
declined
like,
stage time again.
yeah. And after that, like I was riding my bike home, and I was like, that will never happen again. There might be some caveats to that, but like I was like, I'll never decline. Someone offered me stage time, like even now, we have a friend in Los Angeles who's like 200 comics at an open mic. You get 2 minutes. Like this is some bullshit, and it's just reframed my mind around the comedy scene here because it's really quite easy to get on stage.
We biked to Kipling and Bloor last night.
For a show? For your show?
yeah.
Oh, that was last night.
Yeah. Anyways, we
super
definitely went off on a tangent there, but
Yeah, but there was a point of that I picked up on, and it was, oh yeah,
The dedication.
well, Actually, the opportunity, right? Like, because you know in your big brain on the technical side that opportunities are tactical and technical and physical, and you go, that's what I need. I need opportunities and achievement. So I passed up an opportunity. I'm not pursuing my goal properly. Ellevan's over here going, that's not an opportunity. I'll do that on the sidewalk. Right? Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Right? And he goes, he has a different sense of the opportunity. you know?
Yes.
And so I think it's
That's
like
right.
fair enough. Guilt yourself a little bit about passing up that opportunity.
Yeah, because if I didn't have that experience, I might not have this new, like, I think it's a profound appreciation for what I have right in front of me. And it came out of that really, like, ugh, that kind of felt shitty. Like, why would I have done that? You know?
Yeah.
It was silly. It felt silly, not shitty.
And I love it because imagine, the exact thing we're talking about, imagine it had anything to do with anything else except for just that individual thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
You missed a show, it feels bad. Okay. Are you connecting that to your psyche in general and it's suffocating your artwork now? Or is that what you're claiming? Or is it just this
No.
one event that happened?
It's just the one event.
And she
because-
used it and learned from it right away.
There you go.
Because, and like you said, like that feeling when your brain says, no, and you're supposed to be like, no, I'm safe, I'm fine, I'm going to go do this. Like, we're training right now.
Yeah.
I gave in to the no.
Yeah.
And that's why it felt silly, because I thought I was farther along than that, and I'm not. It's constant practice.
And I love it because so fucking what? Like, I love that because can't do anything about it. I love that, because on we go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
It's
so
the
I-
most important part of the journey, like the elbow grease, you know?
The elbow grease, that's right, because like I have a 5, a 12, and a 20-minute stand-up set prepared. And I haven't done it yet. And I'm obsessed with stand-up. Like when I have
See
free
you on
time
Sunday
at
night.
home.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. Oh no, I can't. I actually can't. But
Sunday
challenge
night.
me next time.
Backroom comedy every Sunday night.
I
Shout
can
out.
just
Okay.
send you a bunch of open mics.
Please do that, okay? Because
You
I've got a
can-
group of friends who kind of want to, but I could tell myself all day that I'm not avoiding it from fear, but of course I am. I've practiced the motherfucking 5 minutes like 90 times in my like I'm obsessed with writing stand-up comedy.
I
Oh,
love
cool.
that.
Anytime I have free time, that's where my brain naturally goes, and I just start thinking about Schwarzenegger and just how funny that is as a thing. And then you just,
You're very funny. You've been so funny on this
Yeah,
show
you're a real
already.
delight.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I-
you should definitely come out to a mic.
I'd like to. I will. And I like that. Like it's really about being a personality though too, isn't it?
Yes.
And expressive people are easy. Like Ellevan is a very like he's the guy on the street that you look at and you go, what? You do that to your friend. Like, what is that? So what is?
I watch people do that when I'm with
You're
him.
so perceptive.
they-
I see right through me.
They look to me
Yeah.
because they're like, "Are you?" And I'm like, "Yep,
That's how you do it? You go,
yeah, yeah." I'll eye contact and smile. Like it's just okay.
It's like she's my handler, bro. Literally, I feel sometimes like she's walking a tiger on the leash, and I'm the tiger, and that's what people know. They're like, I
It's
could,
cra-
look,
it's-
I
it-
could
it
appreciate,
happens so
or I could
much.
bite you.
It's been lately when we go for walks. Ellevan's really enjoying hugging trees.
Oh, that's so nice.
Brother, grounding, man.
It's so
And
nice.
Grounding.
I agree. And people can't handle it.
Yeah.
They cannot.
Sometimes I come
handle
out of
it.
hugging a tree, and a couple has stopped, and they're like taking a picture of me.
Yeah.
See, that stage presence is my world, right?
I know, it is. I'm just
interesting
being, bro.
and unpredictable, right? How do you
Yeah.
earn someone's attention?
I'm just
You can
being.
be weird. That's one
Yeah.
thing.
And
I
I
didn't think it was weird though. That's what's funny.
It was weird, though. Of course it was. Oh, sorry.
That's
I
okay.
just want to do an impression of just to remind the audience of the mathematical difference between you and you. The cover of my impression of the cover of Discipline Stoners.
Okay.
and I'm like all like.
I love
That's
it.
actually
I love
so
it.
Bro.
funny that you say that because I feel like that is one specifically. Oh, here's
So
your-
we got a story that goes with that because
pillow.
I cut right to the hard duck face because that's my fucking go-to move. That was Winnie's headshot David Lee's
Actor
session.
headshot, yeah.
She like paid David Lee's, right? Like that.
David doesn't even let plus ones come.
Yeah, and he didn't know I was a husband because he doesn't like allow that like jealous
Oh, I
weird
like
shit.
this, yeah.
I was her helper.
Uh-huh.
So as we're like chatting, it ended up coming out that we're partners. We have a podcast and we're like kind of goofing around. He's talking about this photo right here, folks. I'll bring it up. Yeah. And she was sitting on that chair, and David was so cool. He's like, hop in there for one. And I just fucking, like, I didn't even realize I made the duck face of all time. And I was just like, boom, snap, I got out.
Let's see the face.
Now do it for them.
Let's have a duck face off. So this is the most. So let's be like a '90s trio. Yeah. Oh no, you know what we are. Okay,
What?
we are taking over Hollywood. We're like the three top of the moment. We're like it's like '92. You know.
Fucking yes. And it's like US Weekly Mag, and it's all everywhere, and you're on the billboards on Sunset. Ready? Cheese hard. Ready?
This is where you get serious. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Okay. I did a little pouty.
Yeah, I was moving into
I
it.
went pouty too.
Okay, as a challenge, an expression challenge. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do 30 seconds.
Great.
And then you got to push it.
Okay.
So and you push into the weird and the sexy. You push into what it is and what it isn't and everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Because you find it. So you start like just what? Okay, 30 seconds.
'Kay.
You want to time it, or are we just gonna winging it?
I can time it.
Let's time it. Let's
Yeah.
do it. 'Cause this.
Do a minute.
Let's do a minute.
Yes!
Actually, that's good because the 30 seconds didn't scare me at all in my body, and then I just did the minute, and I was like, ugh.
Right.
But
So
it got to cringe territory.
good. So
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
punch through the ceiling. This
Okay.
is incremental risk.
Okay.
So good. Okay.
Here we go. Okay.
Ready?
Yeah. And talking is allowed because you want to keep it in the space, in the environment.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the
Don't go into your head. Yeah. Be
Okay.
here. eh?
Okay, great. I'm right here.
Yeah, it's
I
right
know
there. That's
you.
right. Yeah.
photo shoot for a
the space,
1992 Vogue blowing up, taking over Hollywood photo shoot. Duck face off, starting for 30 seconds now.
Yes. I am a 90s star.
Oh, that's good.
Guys.
I am a 90s star on my duck face.
Ah.
You guys want to have lunch with Pauly Shore? You guys want to have lunch with a Baldwin?
Fuck yeah, I love Baldwin's baby.
Me and Mark Wahlberg are about to go do up some sort of TV show.
Can you tell little Wally I say hello?
Little Wally.
Little Wally.
Where are you, little Wally?
Whoa.
Oh, see look at
40,
that.
40
See,
we
see,
just
so
we
you
coulda-
push it more. So you just push it a bit more. Then.
I don't even need a motherfucking mic stand.
Final pose. Oh yeah.
We killed
Did
it.
we got
killed
past it?
We doubled
Okay.
it.
We
Yeah,
killed
but
it.
we
Double.
definitely felt the arc of the cringe.
You cringe, you break through, you cringe,
Yeah.
and every lower cringe, because now if you go blah, 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 like
Yeah.
it feels like nothing. Like try
Yeah.
just a little weird thing now,
Ugh.
right? It feels like nothing because you're way up here now.
Yeah.
So this is why a pre-show ritual exists.
Ah.
You know, because you spend 20 minutes getting to a certain space. Now
Yo.
everything underneath that is available. This
nothing.
is this. I was coaching an artist that was on tour with Tekashi
Sure.
6ix9ine back in the day of days. The 12 and a half
No.
minutes that he was not in jail.
Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Yeah, but he was a cool ass moment, you know.
Yeah,
Anyway,
for
sure. This artist I was coaching was on tour with him, and those audiences were fucked.
Oh,
remember?
it's like a mosh pit.
Yeah, like a full mosh pit, like aggressive, and
Rap mosh pit.
and he said, I'm a little worried about this audience, and I said, all right, let's go. Technical artist, by the way. Do 30 push-ups in the audience sometime before the show.
That's gangster, yeah.
So he does. He clears the audience.
You create the
and he
space.
gets down and he does them. And they don't feel good. That might be something you're thinking, like, for us, it feels good. No, it's still something to punch through. It's easier. But, right, Ellevan? It's not like we're like, I got everything immediately.
No.
Yeah, so that's such a great point because there was one time in the last couple years, actually, I think, where we're very different socially. And when we go out together, butterfly flies away, and I'm like, I'm not anymore. I like being out now, but
He's butterfly in that?
he's the butterfly in that situation. But we came home from something recently, or at one point, and he was like, I don't know if I've ever vocalized this, but like, I get uncomfortable and anxiety when I'm out too. And I'm like, you do? Like, it did not hit me like that at all. I was like, I had no idea, like literally no idea. You would never let on. Like, I thought you just thrived in big environments and you always seemed so comfortable. And like, so we had this conversation about it. And that really changed things for me too, because I was like, oh, I thought it was something that, it was the same when I went to therapy. I thought I was going to get things that would fix me so I wouldn't feel it anymore. But really, you feel it and you still have to move through it. Like
I'm probably
and then you get
more
comfortable with
the activator is more scared. I can't just stand there and be still. Like, I gotta go almost like prove my worth.
There it is.
I gotta deliver my value.
Yeah.
So I can be a professional, and then I can chill out.
Yeah, because we build our careers. Artists build their careers. You're not selling watches. You're selling experiences, and so it's not tangible. And so it's very hard.
Brother, yes.
So you go, my job is this. And
I'm here to deliver, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm nervous as fuck. Of course, shit my pants almost every time I do a stage show.
And so what we get, though, is this identifying with the way that we're going to make a livelihood in the world is impressing strangers. Mm-hmm. So then you walk around the sidewalk with your posture up as soon as somebody's 30 feet in front of you, and you go, okay, shit. Fuck yeah, but we'll song on. Like you really start to perform all the time.
All the time.
And so even when you're in bed 20 minutes before sleep, it's just like, who am I impressing right now? One of the plagues for me is like, I'm an artist for sure, but then I spend my time philosophizing about these topics.
Yes.
And I feel like I can't have a thought without it being a teaching moment for someone else. Like a private thought that isn't like, so how do I say that so that somebody understands it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You always got to turn it into value. I'm the same way. It's exhausting a little bit.
Very interesting. But so the depths are deeper and the highs are higher. That's the thing. So you're kind of like swinging between this, let's say, and we swing between this, where it sucks fucking ass. Life is awful.
Yeah.
It's suicidal. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And look at me. I'm a legend in my city.
I'm a star.
That's right.
And you think that's just like, that's okay? You think like it's just okay to like put yourself through those like in deeply low lows, like the highs are worth it?
I don't think it's a choice by any
That's it, man. It's not a fucking choice. If you could turn it off, you would almost. But
yeah, like so you'll see some artists exponentially compound the negative side, let's say, and then you get into addiction because it's so easily. For a person, for an expressive artist, it's just like penguins, yes. Just like rapscallion, like him.
It's so facts, bro.
Like, and then you try to rein that in. Come on. It's just like it's insane. So
You're
like
the finest wrangler.
We're busy in our kitchen talking about why the world was created to ourselves out loud, and so it's not. So imagine this. When I'm that motherfucker in that state, which is always, and I go down some path like that sucks, I go down some path of like what the traumatic person taught me or whatever.
Too many unfavorable truths.
I'm going down that path like this.
Yep. Yep.
There's like a fucking hole in the tree, and I go T1000.
It's the only way.
That's right. So you can see the split. So then I get my brain onto some cute thing like the presence of my dog or something, and I just go, yes, now I'm alive and life is good again. Yeah, now I'm alive and life is worth the rent. Yeah. And then I do that shit.
Okay. And this has been an advertisement for bipolar.
Bipolar.
Here's the thing. I have this analogy. I was chatting with Humble about this too, and it's like when you're in that dark space.
So Humble, you keep saying what?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's my buddy Humble the poet, and it's just like lots of things that have come up in our conversation have paralleled like theology. He's also an author.
Cool, yeah. I thought you were just using that as I'm humble.
I'm humble.
Yes,
No.
okay.
I'm like I also discuss this.
Yes.
Oh fuck! I lost now. What was the previous thing you just said though? And it's so when you're in that dark space, before you find what I would call alignment, Like Abraham Hicks says, like, you're in alignment with your true love and you're back on that high vibration. But when you're in that shitty, and the reason why we're running through those trees so fast is, I think, because for people who can't understand why we're running through the trees or why we develop such a propensity to like blast through things and like when you're in pain, it's like, yo, would you slow down in this neighborhood? Like, that's how it feels. Like, I'm not stopping in this fucking dark forest. I will slip. I will fall so hard backwards. I have to keep going forward. It's like, trauma, move on. Trauma, move on. Trauma, move on. And it's just like, yo, dog, you would not slow down in a fucking Crip neighborhood dressed in all fucking red. Like, that's what it feels like. It's like, so you have to get good at, like, blasting forward. And whatever helps you do that, which is, I think, what functionally looks like processing pain or emotion, is with the craft.
I mean, unbelievable. That's right.
You know, like it had, like the only way it can move. Like I can't say it another way, but like the energy has to like drain.
And so what's so interesting is that how often people and me and everybody chooses the shitty route. You know, when I know that I have to blast through, but I have these real problems with just like, fuck, when I'm tired, and this is a very expressive artist thing. It's like if I'm 1% tired, I'm just like, oh God, Martha, bring me my boiled eggs. No, I'm just like, just toast.
Over.
I feel that.
Toast.
And so, fuck, lost that one.
Cannabis in the air.
Yeah, people.
No, I don't know. Kombucha.
Kombucha.
Can Ralphie come up here?
Yes.
Yeah, he can.
Ralph, come. But yeah, so
Blasting off.
soothing.
I wanted to know if you have any daily non-negotiables like meditation or other things in your personal practice, and if you fuck with psychedelics.
Okay, yes. I swing and miss on quite a few non-negotiables, and I'm in and out of them being non-negotiable.
Yep.
But I have lots of negotiables, and I more often than not have the right non-negotiables. That's probably my ratio there. And I would just say exercise, and I just do it at home. It's like a kettlebell type exercise.
Love that.
I've got the gym. I love the gym. I feel better at the gym. I don't want to do the trip, so I just do a real basic thing.
Love it.
What I do for my exercise thing is short and sweet. I'll put 4 songs on Spotify and just like do shit during that, and then bam, damn.
Bro.
That's what it is. That's
Find
what,
a measurement. Yes.
What movement should be. Like it doesn't. I feel so enthused about telling people that they just need to go for a walk 3 times a week. Like movement, we've made it this big thing where, and I feel it with the gym. It's like, fuck, if I don't go to the gym and pump iron every day, what the fuck am I doing? Like just go once a week, just try once a week for 30 minutes. Like make it so, I guess your incremental risk.
Right.
Make it just like 4 Spotify songs. Just move your body, stretch.
And you know songs,
So
and you like
important.
songs, and you know that they're good to work out to, and it won't
Or
stress
just
you out.
dance for an entire song. Like adults don't do that. When
That's
do we
right.
dance for an entire song anymore?
And that's the best. That is the best. I mean, that's totally tribal ancestral, right?
Yeah,
like
for
that's
sure.
amazing.
I noticed at Nuit Blanche there was this really cool activation with some good DJing and live drums. And I was on acid, naturally. And I found myself specifically, and I said this on the mic, Nuit Blanche seems to be the honey. The art installations is the honey to draw the bees to the honey.
Mm-hmm.
I kept turning around and looking at the bees. I was more fascinated about the bees than the honey.
There's live bees.
Live bees.
People.
Yeah. People were the bees.
Oh, the bees.
In this analogy.
Yes.
Nuit Blanche provides the honey, so the bees come, right? And
Very
like
cool.
the people. So I was like, oh my God, I'm supposed to be looking at the honey, but I'm looking at the bees. And my wonderful memory capturing wife as well, like as we were dancing, we all pulled out our phones. I was on acid, so I didn't, but I know if I wasn't on acid, I would have.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, it's like a permission slip. Like, no, you don't know, I'm documenting this like for me, so I'm going to perform for me for a minute. And then once the phone's away, it's like,
That's
feels
right.
like grade 8 dance again. Like, are you?
My dad, when I was on a trip with my dad last month, he fucking schooled me because I was creating something for Instagram, and he's like, the only reason anyone's putting anything on the internet is to show other people, hey, look, this is what I'm doing. And it was so simple.
So
and I was
simple.
like, yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
exactly
You got me. I don't.
I love old school wisdom.
Like,
just old school wisdom. Like, are you like 60 plus?
I
You'll
guess
know
I
something.
want that. I guess, I guess that's what I want. I want to show other people.
And it's being okay with that, right? It's
Yeah.
being like, well, okay, how am I using that intention? How am I using it? What am I doing with it? Same thing with the craft, right? You develop mastery over a craft, singer, rapper, producer, actor, comedian. What are you saying? What's the message? What's the core?
And I think that's brilliant because I think people trap that question behind branding a little bit as well.
But what your branding should just follow you like a trail of how you make people feel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like branding is a very curious one because again, there's a technical aspect and an expressive aspect.
No
so
doubt.
it's like what you wear and then how you present yourself in what you wear. And so the crazier the risk involved with what you wear, the more fear there is in the expressive side of how you deliver it. Right? And so that's why you're getting attention on the sidewalk because you're like free, like childlike. So people look and go, oh yeah, I actually remember that. I don't do that, but I do remember that. Right? He's stage presence. Be interesting and unpredictable. So that's what he's doing all the time.
Yo, thank you. Bless you.
I know. He's a real pleasure.
Bless you. I'm trying to look up something about the origin of the word logo because it ties into this so well. I can't remember the fact right now, and Cannabis will do that for you. I learned it in that recent 3-week period. I'll remember it again in like fucking couple weeks. But it's like originally comes from a Greek word, ancient Greek logos.
I've heard that.
It's speech, mark, or imprint. And
cool.
a logo. So it all breaks down like shout out Pixel Dreams. Like I was kind of like part of this really cool creative agency that like taught me a lot of philosophy around design. And like this was one of the things that came up. And you look at timeless logos like the NASA logo, the IBM logo. These are examples that are right here. I'll put a screenshot of this here. And I think branding really comes down literally not only to the logo as I'm sitting around logos that like I couldn't see this color red and not think of that Coca-Cola at Christmas time, like all this usage that branding warrants, but also the deep feeling you're saying of how an artist styles themselves. It's a lifestyle. It's like the imprint from that word logos. It's like the imprint that your energy, I think it's less business and technical and it's more spiritual if you're doing it right. Like your actual logo as an artist should reflect kind of how you feel and how you are. And then the rest of your logos, your like imprint on people, I think you will have a strong momentum of a life if you have definition of who you are, if you feel comfortable. And those are the most pure, authentic imprints that people like remember. So I think it's like about kind of being remembered a little bit. Like how you carry yourself, how you present yourself, and what type of energy you're vibrating at, and how you give that to the world. It all ties in so spiritually, even though it seems like business.
Is it just how for right now?
Well, that's it.
What
It
does
will
that
change.
even mean, being remembered?
Well, your authentic presence will be remembered. Not like, hey, I know that Aaliyah wore specifically Tommy Hilfiger overalls. It's like, yo, that was a hot girl dressing like a boy and making it hot. She changed history. You know what I mean?
For an amount of time.
For an amount of time until the next one came. But
Yeah.
I look at it as like perhaps a contribution. Like it's extremely selfish for sure to be like a music artist. Like who do you think you are? Right? Same with a comedian. Like why would you take up so much space in the world? Like just like start a business that serves people. Like make toothbrushes and fuck off. Right? Why are you taking up so much space? So there you go. Like Humble said to me in that moment, like make it matter. Like your branding, your logo, the imprint you leave with your energy, not just the lyrics of the songs, but who
I
you
like
are.
that.
Like who you are. Like when you stepped on stage at Rise, you changed the room. I remember everyone had more permission. The like peacocking lessened, the tension lessened. It was like more human, more raw, more real. And you can have a logo branding imprint that translates that. There's a great artist, Michael Franti. I don't know if you know him, but he's like a Hawaiian dude and he's just such a grounded dude. And it reminds me like, okay, you don't have to like be like, you don't have to have a yellow Lamborghini to like have a successful career.
I think
Definitely.
I think branding is an insanely interesting topic for that reason. It's like, it's back to the thing where there's two ways in. Like, you could, if you were dominantly technical, let's say, you might want to choose some clothes and then let that identify your expressive output,
And work from there.
Yeah, and go like, like this suede jacket like reminds me of this. Oh, maybe that's what I lean on expressively.
I think most successful artists, say like Drake, do operate from, which I would call, informed by Napoleon Hill, the synthetic imagination, which is taking what works and rinsing it and doing it your own way. So you're operating from like, oh, I like coffee. Let me make my own coffee and sell that, as opposed to like someone from the more creative imagination, which would align with the expressive artist way of thinking. It's like, I want to create a new drink.
Yeah.
Period. Not coffee, but like another drink, like a mushroom,
Very well put.
Yeah, so it's like, I think it's like for sure those synthetic imagination, because it still takes imagination, but you're working from something that is already created. So I think that's probably a wiser business approach. Yeah, and you're right. It's all within the perceiver of that person.
And you kind of do that anyway as an expressive artist, where you're like
inspiration. How can you dodge inspiration?
Yeah. Like, I have 4 or 5 favorite vocalists, and I can tell kind of the math of that in my sound. Where I go, oh, it's his vibrato, and it's kind of like that. Yes. Right. So I love that you can come in from either way on your brand, where you go. Yeah, where you go, I don't have to create it. In other words, like my version of your beautifully put one would be like, you can be an Elvis impersonator pretty easily. It's pretty hard to be Elvis. Right, and that's the same point.
Yes.
Yeah, and expressive artists are like, I want to be Elvis, and perhaps more technical people go, well, let me take the structure of Elvis and borrow that, and then there's my creativity jumping off point, and now I can attach to that. And I think that's my work, is going, oh, you're very technical, so let's attach to your emotions. By what way? Like, what emotion, let's say? Are you particularly sad? Let's lean into that then.
Oh, so you're not condemning anything like outside of happiness. You're like, if you're sad, you're sad. If that's the way your spirit moves. Yeah,
because otherwise it's resistance, right? And so it's like, how can you get the source energy and shit if you're not like aligned, really?
Oh my God, I love this point. This is very special, because I think a lot of people, especially who like watch the show or know me as a person, they say like, how are you happy?
Yeah.
I think I have to get happy to be successful. And I'm like, I don't think like XXXTentacion was happy. Right. Like, I don't think Kurt Cobain was happy. I think a lot of people had internal struggle and were also successful. And like Slim Shady particularly, who I'm such a fan of, was very, very like in a fuck it mode, I think, when he got that call. And so I love that power that you're saying of like, really be honest with yourself of where you vibrate, and then leaning into that further. And like, you can connect to source energy that is totally objective. Like, source energy is available through if you put that antenna up, that's really special.
You know what? And I love what you're putting there. I like to put this a certain way that's quite hooky and quite cute, which is, this is a conversation with yourself in the bathtub. This is a bathtub conversation, because this is where you get real with your skill gap, meaning how good are you? And based on your dream, how good do you have to be?
Kick it real.
That's right.
Where's your work?
Let's go.
Man.
Yeah.
So here's what you do.
The bluff, I like that.
Focus on that 3% in the room.
I got my 3% too, and it's the same as yours. I've said the same. We've
The
come to the
hardest critic.
same conclusion.
Yeah.
And I say you're looking for 3% of people to get you. You're saying the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And we came to it separately.
Yeah. From
seeing
different.
seeing the same exact information. So that's of course the case.
No matter what the situation in life is, like I call them the lyric lovers. Like the three, and you call them the 3%. I call them the lyric lovers. So I'm like, that's just in my like selfish being a rapper through my journey, learning how to win over a room. It's like, for me, I always like to think about, like, say if I'm in the opera house, I'll think of like that very back far corner that like no one gives a fuck about too, right? Like that very back far corner, not the person, the actual corner, like the floor.
Yeah.
And then like think about like transmitting a connection of my energy to that point, like the farthest, deepest, hardest part in the room.
Yeah.
And then everything between I can just perceive as love instead of looking against it like judgment. Because they're like watching me be in my pure moment, but I'm not even worried about them. I'm thinking about that.
So here's an interesting word, right? I'm thinking about that. You would be thinking about that. Are you saying you're thinking about it, or you are?
I'm actually not thinking about
Feeling
anything.
it.
You're looking at them.
Yeah, I'm kind of like
doing
aware
it.
of it. Yeah, I'm doing it. Like
See how different that is.
That's true, really.
Because it's either Winnie would be there going like, "There's that guy. Okay, what do I do? Okay," and start
Yeah.
and you would disappear from the audience. They'd go, "What are you doing?" And she'd be like, "I'm thinking about just a second, just
Yep.
a second." And you're going, you have the thought, but then you go, that guy, and you see the guy. And so
Yeah.
you're engaging your senses, not
Hey,
your
guy.
judgment center.
yes.
Winnie might be starting with the judgment center.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm just feeling as an awareness
Mm-hmm.
and like maybe visually I check on like if it's the song, like we're doing a whole song and I'm totally lost in like the moment of the lyrics. If I have a moment to glance at the audience outside of an authentic moment where someone's like busting, I check there and I just like tune in, like, you know, and chances are there's just magic of also letting go and not giving a fuck. Like that's how people I think do buy in the most. But yeah, it's special when you let go of everything in between.
And it brings up a really interesting exercise for you on Sunday, let's say. Because are you going on Sunday? You're ripping it up?
Probably.
Okay,
Probably.
so-
Try, yeah.
When you come on, optional exercise, of course, before you start, just make eye contact with a few people in the back row, and it'll just be that kind of like thing, but it'll put you in the environment, and you'll get out of here for just a second. You go, oh yeah, people. And identifying the back row kind of puts you in charge of everybody that's not in the back row. Like if I'm helping an artist design an arena show,
Yes.
and they have their particular type of arena terror, you know, kind of thing. I go, okay, song one, the first minute of that song, your entire mission is just to make eye contact with as many people as possible. Not because it's fucking sexy A&R shit. It's because you need to connect to the conversational place here and get out of your head about it. And then I go, during that first song, we're also going to put a bridge in here where you got to, in the most cliche way you want, address the back row and have them go, woo, and then go, I can't hear you. So they go, woo, and you get to realize that you can lead people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you looked at someone in the back row at the comedy night and you just said, what's your name? And they said, Michelle. And you'd be like, all right. And then you would just kind of open up this space where you tell your brain, I'm a social leader, by the way.
Yes.
And your brain goes, instead of resisting, your brain goes, so are we doing that?
Yes.
Right?
It works for you
And
once
you-
you tell it what to do.
And here's the key to that. And you go, yeah, we're doing that. And then your brain goes, I'll prepare for that. Rather than I'm going to resist every centimeter of that when you attempt it.
Yeah.
Put it all in.
Yeah.
Put it all in. Bro.
I feel like that muscle has begun. You know, like I feel like I've developed. I'm at least open to now sort of that risk. I feel comfortable enough on stage where I'm willing to let go of my expectations of what it's supposed to feel like and be like, and just I'm a little bit more present.
Good for you.
But you know, it takes time.
What's the Sunday risk?
I think when I said no, the risk was just sounding stupid. And I was like, well, if I'm afraid of sounding stupid as a stand-up, I better quit now because
the
you're not
job.
going to make it.
That is literally the job.
That's really, so that I had to have that conversation. And that's when I was like, oh, this feels silly and yucky that I didn't take that opportunity because I want to be a stand-up. I want to make it a viable career.
What I love, Winnie, is that when we talk about this and you go right to the technical side, and you go, I missed the opportunity. That's where the risk was. And what's an interesting question then too is what's the expressive risk on Sunday? Like, what will you do on stage that will put you into oh fuck, okay, let's do it.
Yeah. So there's two. I've done it twice since that time that we spoke about, and I did both times. I've did new material that hadn't been spoken aloud before. So normally when I have new material, I'll practice it at home
Right.
before I bring it to stage.
Yeah.
So these two pieces hadn't actually physically been spoken out loud yet. They were just brain babies
that's
that
fun.
I wrote down. So that I think was kind of boundary pushing in terms of discomfort.
Hell yeah, huge.
And then I do the bucket, so you don't know what the topic's gonna be. But I haven't killed the bucket yet. I fail every time.
And what does fail mean?
Nosedive onto another new bit or onto you're supposed to try and riff on it.
Yeah.
But I look at it and I say one thing about it, and if nothing else comes, I'm like, well, and you really should try and stay with it.
Yeah.
And get uncomfortable.
Try it right
with
now.
it.
You pulled something out of the bucket. Blum blum. It says piggies. Go. Make a joke out of piggies.
Piggies. They are. I love pigs actually because they're emotionally intelligent, and because I love them so much, I only rarely eat them.
Very cool.
That was good. That was actually really.
Did you just feel the resistance and then you let go into what? Telling the truth?
Yes.
Bam.
And what's so fun too is that like you came in from the expressive space, which was let me select a moment from life, right? That's an expressive entry. But then you really plastered it with the technique, right? Like, because then you were looking for the punchline and stuff in real time.
Yeah.
And it just disconnected you a bit. And there, by the way, nothing wrong with that. That's not a bad thing. It just was like, oh, I can see that you're thinking there now. You know, and it's kind of neat also to not do that, but it's a strength. You did everything right there in terms of of course you did, like in terms of your personality type, the technical thing, because you have to craft shit. So instead of guilting about not being as emotional, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rely on your amazing ability
Skill.
to craft things.
Yeah.
That's it.
Rely.
It always runs out. I think you touched on that a couple times, and to Winnie's point about like me being anxious when I go out too, and us having to blast through those trees and make that choice. It's like, yeah, like when you're freestyling or like songwriting or whatever, like of course the juice drops on whether it's the 4th bar in or 14th bar in.
Yep.
That original idea doesn't sizzle as hard as it did.
Yep.
That's just life. It's like thought is an organic matter. It's like it just spoils and you're done talking about that topic at the time. But it's pivoting out of it. And like Johnny Carson was the master of the bomb. So he'd try and say something funny or the writer would write something funny. Remember Johnny Carson Late Night, right? And it's like that's a real master, I think, that like doesn't, you said it, it's like doesn't judge himself so it doesn't fuck up the flow. It's like you can play with it, you know, like this as opposed to like the rigid, like I'm new. Like, you know, like it's like fucking let it fail. Like I dare you to judge me if I miss a line. I just rhymed 14. Fuck you. You know what I mean? Like you end up finding something magic in like failing. But like it's like the juice is gonna run out. Now it's your turn to show how much of a master you are, right?
And that's exactly right. I would say for expressive artists, and for technical artists, and the ones at home that have been following it too are just going like, no, man, no.
So
like
what's the
technical
technical version of that? Because thank you for calling me out, basically.
It just needs more structure. It's not quite as simple as let me give every expressive emotional thing that I've got. I need to do that within a structure. So I'll only get like you could go, I won't write a set list. And Winnie goes, like musically or something. What? Like we need something to live inside of, for fuck's sake.
This is so important because I don't
right.
validate this even. And when he's like, I need structure, I'm like, just be great. So good, bro.
The hero is inside you.
They made a song about it.
Or some exercise. She doesn't feel good. And he's like, give me your hand.
Exactly.
Shut up.
Just feel but the structure, you're right. So how could you approach that on a structure angle?
And so this comes to the medium thing as well, but like for your comedy routine, like I might be able to go on the expressive side, Jason Bourne, which is the topic of my 5 minutes. And then just go, I'm just going to do Jason Bourne for 5 minutes, you know, and Ellevan would be like, great, let's go. But you go, can I have 25 bullet points within there?
Bits.
The bits. And so you got to go to where you need to go structurally and then find expression there. So you got to get comfortable in rehearsal enough to that you really don't have to be winging it really, except for you really need to be.
Yeah.
That's it, rehearsal.
And this drips over into my yoga career as well because I've been teaching for 12 years and there are certain classes that I can show up to and I've put in so much work that I don't need to prep for them. I can improv that shit every time because it's so like ingrained. Yeah. And then there are practices that I'm newer at that I'm just learning to teach over the last couple of years that require that rehearsal in order for me to trust myself going into that performance, you know? So the longer you do it, I guess.
Are you leading is it in-person yoga? And you're leading how many people?
Anywhere between like 18 and 50.
Very cool. So how do you feel about the banter portion? So in between the guided part, now we're changing things around, just like in between a song, where now you've got some kind of responsibility to fill dead air type of thing. You know, how do you approach that?
I think it's gotten way better since I've started stand-up, honestly. But mostly it's like off the top of my head based on the energy that I'm feeling in the room. So I won't pre-plan like a meditation or anything like that. I'll get in there and feel it and see how people are moving and responding to one another and what the skill level is of the entire room, and kind of go from there.
I think that's neat, because I think that relates perfectly to comedy then, if you just like plug it into comedy. Yeah.
And for me, it's like, oh, well, it's because I've done it for 12 years now and like full time that so there's this, I guess, belief inside my head that because I've only done comedy for 3 years, there's just no way that I could be at the level I am in my yoga classes because of the time spent getting there.
Fair enough, I think. Yeah.
But also, I have all of the tools that I have from yoga, too, for the last 12 years that I don't really take into account, and my 10 years of performing in, film and television. So, like, I don't take that into account in my stand-up. I get very compartmental, you know? And so I'm like, well, because even if we're talking rates, like how Ellevan sells himself and his music is vastly different than how I sell my stand-up and myself, and even from acting. And it's because I've now separated comedy, and it's like, well, I've only done comedy for 2 years and 10 months. And so, like, my value isn't there because I have this belief that you need to put so much time and effort into something before you're allowed to ask for certain rates for yourself.
So in comedy, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're asking for rates for comedy. So you're at that level of some gigs like
some corporate stuff, like the
cool.
When you get booked on shows, it's either you're not getting paid or you get paid like $20, which I love it. Thank you. I love my $20.
Oh yeah, you got to love the $20.
Yeah.
But that's a fun idea that it's like this kind of generation of comedians, the top 12 people that everybody knows or whatever, they kind of like are always telling us stories about every night grinding. And so you go, that's true. That seems to be a pattern with all of them. But like, you can't be guilty when you can't do 7 nights a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That kills everybody. It's just going like, oh man, I can't commit in that way. Okay.
I heard Ari Shafir on a podcast recently, and he's like, if you're starting stand-up later than 18, just quit.
Oh, God.
He's like, just don't do it.
Yeah, but
Why
he's
would
just
you do
fucked
it?
up.
And of course, but you hear that and you're like, makes sense though, because so many of them started at 18
But then
and did it for 10 years.
You were in
and
AMDA though.
Well, this is what you just missed.
Oh yeah.
Is
so you've been performing. Like, she has stripes.
Yeah.
And you can see it in her, like, tenacity with fucking like holding it down at these open mics. It's like just breezing through them. It's like, can we go spend $40 at a bar so you can perform, please? This is the best. And I actually do love it, because I've tried all the chicken wings across the whole city. And I love it so much. She was there for me when I was doing the stand-up grind.
Yeah.
So I want to be there for her. It's so fun. And I get to see the same people. And we've established a bit of a cool thing with the podcast and the comedian community too.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
All
You've
right.
become like kind of a documentarian of the stand-up scene. And that's actually like, you're an angel of my agenda with this, is to get more music peeps. And like the fact that you were like down to jam, like, oh my God, I feel like this is such a bit like, you've had a sesh
so
with Winnie
fun.
live and me. Like, we've worked through Winnie's stuff legitimately. You've had like a beautiful creative sesh, like, and I feel like for people watching, they just got to like vicariously kind of experience both of, our perspectives through like you, man. You're so in the moment and authentic. What a gift. Congratulations on living in the form that you are living in.
Wow. Thank you.
Bless you.
No, unbelievably fun, guys. And that wasn't unsolicited. It did occur to me. I got self-conscious in the spirit of our conversation, like a little while ago.
That.
Oh, I know, and I can tell you want that. It's just. I had visions of being obnoxious, like being like, I should do. And you're just like,
No, but we're inviting him.
Yeah.
We're literally
I can
asking.
tell
asking.
that, but
Yeah.
but okay.
Can
Yeah.
we talk a little bit just, sorry, what?
No, you go first.
Just like, can we just real quick talk about you're evolved into this, what I would consider, we're all wearing veils of whatever we want to say, artist, coach, entrepreneur, all this stuff that we are. But we're basically just like energy beings that are like doing some sort of wonderful work. And you're basically a philosopher, I would say, and that's tremendous. And your like coaching ability to like zoom out. But also you've spent and had like quite the tremendous time as a music artist yourself, early before the coaching.
True enough.
Can you tell us a little bit of omit what you want to omit, but like, kind of some cliff notes about, you have an impressive experience in my eyes with like actually being a music artist.
I'm good, thanks, Winnie. Yeah, so I grew up in the Ottawa Valley, very small town, 6,000 people, Arn, Pryor, Ontario, and not like I had a band. We had the only skate punk band. Well, the only one of two bands, Echo One, which was like Rush kind of inspired,
Nice.
and then us, Pole Smoker.
Pole smoker.
Before the internet existed. So when it did, I was like, Pole Smoker. Oh, that's fun. Okay.
It's nice to be that.
That's right. But like, I had this great upbringing in terms of music because not a lot of bands in school, but then like we're the popular band and it's kind of cool and it's building my confidence. And I really got into songwriting and fell in love with all of that. But started with the skate punk, that stuff, thing, and like vocalist and all that kind of stuff, bass player in the band. And like that kicked off a guy who was already sort of expressive just as a person, whatever. And then you get kind of thrown into this kind of thing where there's so much energy created in such a fucking weird, cool way.
Yeah.
And then so you kind of ride that. So then you kind of go, I'm going to do this. It makes a lot of sense. But let me go where there are artists. So I'm going to go create a band. I moved to London, Ontario, and went into music, but no interest whatsoever in school. I can't even in retrospect believe how much I didn't care about that. It's amazing. So I was in school just trying to locate a drummer and a guitar player and a
That's
whatever.
right. Use it for its network. Yeah.
Yeah, so I dropped out as soon as I made a band. We moved to Toronto. I started this band, Crush Luther, and we did like full van Canadian tours, like 18 V8 jugs in the van because cheap vegetables, that kind of Canadian January in the West Edmonton Mall parking lot kind of vibes.
Buddy.
So really did the
Yep.
thing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And then we had a number one and a number two hit on Much More Music in the day. So hit videos. And this was me, the expressive artist, too. When we had a number one video, I remember seeing that. And it was our first single. It went to number one. And then somebody sent it to me. Here it is, number one. And I just remember being like, yeah. Like, this is what it was. Like, back to that thing where everybody who believes it themselves,
Yes.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, absolutely, that's number one. Then the next one was number two, and then it kind of fell off because of a pretty interesting technical thing. Because we were getting that because we were really good early vloggers, actually.
Ooh.
Like, we had tour blogs and things. And then the Much More Music thing, this is a bit too much information, but they would get, like, it would be fan votes and stuff. So we get to number one, but then they kind of killed that system on our third single, and we kind of disappeared completely.
It went back to payola.
Not even that, because we weren't doing that. Good term, holy shit, payola.
Yeah,
no, I know.
The incentivizing of playlisting, if you will.
Yeah, we never got to that kind of budget where it's going to payola anybody. That kind of thing.
I'm saying, yeah, you couldn't, but like plenty of labels could.
That's right. So our show ended up being this kind of skate punky, high energy thing, but very pop rock sound, let's say, very undefined production wise because I produced it and I didn't know what I was doing per se. but really interesting songs and that kind of thing. And so when that kind of died, and it died, by the way, in the way that everything does, which is it faded away gently and died in a cliffside,
Abandoned
that's
on
right.
the highway.
Over 2 years, when like any relationship that was supposed to end 2 years ago, it's it's like
Takes time.
Got to do it. That's right. And but all good times. It just kind of faded out like that. Yeah. And then I had a band for a year that had a documentary made about it. And the documentary is called Chasing Fortune. I've never seen it, and it was traumatic enough that time that I don't want to see it. Like, it bothers me.
It would trigger, yeah.
I don't want to see that, yeah. But it was a year with just in a duo, not a duo. I brought my band to be in kind of like a celebrities band.
Yes.
And then we kind of pursued that for a year, but it was ultra shit, and it was kind of abuse. No, yeah. Borderline kind of like that, and it was just kind of a fucked up feeling, the whole thing.
Who was running it? Was it a label running that show?
No. It was us. Like, we formed a band.
Yeah.
You made a band to make something based on a result.
We made a band because Crush Luther had ended. I get a call from this celebrity. I already kind of mentioned the documentary, but maybe we'll bleep it because I'm not totally comfortable. But
okay, that's fair.
Saying, I really like this album that you produced. You want to produce my record? And I was like, oh, great. And then we kind of hit it off. And then I go, and he goes, let's make a band. Let's be in the band. And I go, okay, let's be in the band. And so I get my guys into the band. And I remember saying to my drummer, maybe we can skip buying another fucking van if we joined this band.
Yeah.
And it was just that thing of like, okay.
Totally.
You got to give it a try.
Give it a try.
It can't be something that just runs by your mind and you think, well, it's an opportunity.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity. That's right. That's exactly
so you guys shot a documentary about making this album together?
Yeah, we shot the thing the whole time it was shooting, but it was kind of 9 months of chaos, and then I really realized my lesson from that really was you can't hand your dream to somebody. That's what it is. Because I remember playing our third show and our final show, and my old drummer who wasn't in this new band, I go, great, right? How is it? It's great. And he just goes, I like you a lot more. And I go, oh, I didn't think that was possible. I was kind of like, oh, I've put this person so high.
Whoa.
That I was like, oh, you're a legend. You're my mentor. You get it. And then my drummer goes, well, yeah, that was fine, but I like you more. And I went, that was a real bubble pop. So then anyway, so there's my trials. That's everybody's story, by the way, in some way, right there. Yeah. And then I pivoted to coaching artists. I kind of said, I'm going to definitely remain an artist. There's no doubt about that. I'm going to still make stuff forever. But let me see if I can make money. Mm-hmm. And let me get a job. And the only thing I know about, because I sat on my bed for my 20s, the only thing I know about is creativity and performance. So I went back to Toronto and I started going to somebody's rehearsal every night and sitting on the couch and writing about these abstract ideas, like the moment and things, and going like, what the fuck is that? Mm-hmm. Like, from out here, now that I'm looking, oh, I see what you're afraid of. I've been afraid of that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I've done so much analysis there. And then I got just sort of my own practice kind of booming and got in with CMI, which is the greatest artist mentor program stuff.
I can't believe this is your ringer.
That's my paid for parking thing. I gotta.
What you gotta do is
no, I can do it on here. But let me finish this thing.
Right.
CMI.
Yes, which is the best artist
Canadian music.
Canada's music incubator.
Thank you.
Run by the best guy in the industry, Velo Mazic. Heart of gold, business person,
Velo
beautiful.
Mazic?
That's right.
That's a great name.
But that's the strength of the organization. It's Velo Mazic. He's He's the artist. He's the business guy that artists want to meet because you just go, "Oh, you're a beautiful human," and he goes, "Yeah, yeah." That's what it is, So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And JUNO Masterclass as well. I'm the coach for that since the beginning. 10 years.
That's wicked.
And so that was my pivot, though, from art to business, and I'm just now kind of got the hang of it enough where I have my own full methodology.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Totally and I got to put that in the book and all that. But I'm ready to start making music again.
Oh, that's so delightful.
Awesome.
And what I've learned, by the way, just to end it, what I've learned from coaching artists is That's why you guys think I'm kind of cool, because I'm saying things you're like, yeah, and I'm like, I've thought about this for 11 years without stopping. So I'm just like, I'm just interested in human behavior, and particularly, why do my people, artists, suffer so bad?
We really do.
We really do. I mean, it's not nice.
Yeah.
It's really not nice.
Yeah. I read a stat somewhere that artists receive more rejection in a lifetime than anyone ever should.
Ever should, yes.
Why do my people suffer so badly?
No.
I don't need to get mad at
Why do my
me.
people suffer so badly?
I don't have to get mad at me. I don't have to judge myself.
I don't have to get mad. I don't have to get mad. I don't have to get mad. I have to get sad. Glad, flat, blads, clad. Shiggy diggy big biggie bad. So,
Hit 'em up and hit 'em down. What we talking about, we is just gonna zoom in and zoom out. What's happening with performance? I've been scared of that before, man. I know you gotta write your material. Have the structure that works and the spirit goes deeper than you ever thought it could, though. Sit down, the game be deep throat, cutthroat. It sucks sometimes. What the fuck? Can't rush nothing on time. Can't be nothing that you don't want to justify online. Winnie, tell 'em about your mind.
What are we talking about? Discipline stoners figuring it out. I wanna be right here, so my present, my dear. I'm all about self-help, and so I use myself to put a bit of learning in the air. I wanna be better, I wanna be confident, I wanna make love, I wanna be I wanna be confident, I wanna make love, I wanna...
And confidence is probably this, is probably lit. It's all with this. You twisting six, we smoking spliffs. You know with this, you roll with this. You writing hits, you know what it is. Early days of vlogging, yeah, you got it going on, man. You taking that van all across. Motherfuckers like it's Colorado, all around the mountains.
That's
What you
true.
talking about, baby?
Back on YouTube, those were the days. I was nude in the grave. Coming on YouTube from the beginning. I was winning. From birth, I was winning.
He was winning.
Winning.
I'm never beginning. I'm constant.
Oh! Nice.
Like Voltec Johnson. Yo, motherfucking 80s wrestler for sure. McMahon put him up to it. Voltec Johnson. This is the ballad of Voltec Johnson.
Voltec Johnson.
Voltec
Johnson. Yo, talking artist. Mr. Johnson going about gold dust. He's about to get thrown up in the corner and beefed up, beat up and thrown out like what? Hey,
Voltec Johnson.
when it was WWF. Before we gave a www dot to motherfuckers and thought what they cared about and gave an F. Yeah. Don't be stressed. Just go with the Voltum, the Volcrum. Yes, I mean I got vortexes on my chest. I know that I'm so blessed. Come back and impress. That's what it's all about. Make the moment matter. Yeah, take the glass ceiling and shatter. Let it dingy dong and let it sing along. And then we going strong. We talk about it on.
We gotta be gone because the alarm is going on. I am technical, they're expressive. Now we're gonna learn the lesson. Always pick up your phone because parking is a bitch. So then we gotta say goodnight to all. But this has been the Blessing Ball.
The blessing ball.
So good.
That's the new one
That-
by Winnie called Blessing Ball. Vote for it over here at K779.
Oh, fuck.
We're going to be
That
playing
was-
some hits all day. Our next song coming up that is called Believe in Yourself by Luther and Winnie.
Is there anything you want to leave the people with, Luther?
I can't do this, but belief in yourself would be awfully nice. I want to just say that it's almost untapped that an artist put work into live performance with any risk of any sort. It's almost untapped. So few people aren't just rehearsing something and then delivering it on a stage and haven't taken the extra part of that, which is, how do I push this? How do I make this interesting and unpredictable so people want to pay attention to it? So few people do that, and I know from the inside, and that's comedy, that's everybody,
Yeah.
right? That if you just take some risks, and if you're technical, build something in, build it into the framework. I'm going to wear a cape for this joke. Yeah,
Anchors.
Yeah, anchor it to there. And if you're expressive, just let it fucking ride, man. Like, that's what it is. Get on stage and let it ride. Yeah.
Let It Ride with Luther Mallory.
Oh my God, that's the name of the episode. Oh, bless you, bro. Thank you so much for blessing us, man.
Thank you so much.
It was
was
so
so fun.
nice.
right.
We will put where to find him in the description. Tell a friend, subscribe. Man, I feel so wonderful right now.
Yeah, me too.
You go express. If you take anything away, take that. Go find some expression that makes you a little uneasy. See what happens. I love you.
Don't run away. Come on, man.
I want some jalapeno chips. I want some jalapeno chips.
That's the end of this. It's like the end of it's like the hook on the end of a 90s sitcom theme song.
Oh yeah, a stinger or
It's the Voltec Johnson sitcom. Voltec Johnson. Voltec Johnson and family. Voltec Johnson. It's Voltec Johnson and family. Voltec Johnson. It's the Johnson. Voltec Johnson and family. Voltec Johnson. There's Carmine Johnson. There's Sedberg Penguin Johnson. Don't forget about our quirky neighbor, Fosbury Sock Johnson. Everybody's a Johnson in this world. Everybody's a Johnson in this world, yeah. Everybody's a Johnson in this world. Keep going. You know what we gotta do? It's come out. Same thing, but now in the space. Yeah, come with us. Yeah, this space. See how it gets different. Voltec Johnson, he's a Johnson. He makes burgers down at Johnson's Burgers. I love that tone. That's great.
Bless you, bro. That was so fun.
In this episode, Voltec's son, Grayskull, accidentally kicks a flamingo into his sister and she dies.
I kicked her sister and she died. I kicked her and she died. Made me wanna cry, but she was being high, so I said lie. I didn't kick her. I want to not go to jail.
Is that a potato that I see?
Potato.
Is that a potato I see, Miguel?
Potato.
I haven't seen the
Potato.
potatoes in 1797.
Potato. Potato.
Potatoes.
Potatoes. What more do
Goodbye.
you say?
Can't beat that. That is.
Welcome to Disciplined Stoners, the gateway drug to mindfulness. Look deeper.
To think that we started this podcast to fight a stigma, only to uncover so much love that we realized that you can't put your energy anywhere but what you want.
Look deeper.
And what we want is authentic conversation. What we want is quality medicine. What we enjoy is each other.
We get to learn from our guests. Manage the best. I would manifest this.
Part of the magic of the plant is how it uncovers what you've been hiding away.
So much love.
Look deeper. Feel more. Tune in.
So much love. Look deeper.
We're not here to be lazy.
Welcome to Disciplined Stoners,
We're not here to distract ourselves.
the gateway drug to mindfulness.
We're here to learn. We're here to grow.